It's now time for The Sit Down with Don Tony.
The Sit Down, where Don Tony talks one-on-one with his followers.
What are you looking at?
About the world of pro wrestling, pop culture, and so much more.
The Sit Down with Don Tony.
And now, your host, Don Tony.
See, I know a lot of you out there think that there's only room for one podfather. Truth is that you could have different godfathers for different families. So there isn't, and there never was, just one podfather. But I believe that I am one. Wow, this is the last Sunday episode of 2021. Somebody just pointed it out. By the way, shout out to AJ Moore. Awesome artist. You can see some of his artwork behind me, and he is live tonight, as many of you. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, happy New Year. Hope everybody is doing well. It is Sunday night, little bit past 8:05 p.m., December 26, 2021. Welcome. This is technically the Don Tony Show. I know normally we do the DT Show on Saturdays, and we do the sit down on Sundays, which feature just call-ins. But tonight we're going to do both. As you can see in the video description for tonight, we have quite a few topics to get into. We will discuss them, and then we will take some calls. In fact, we might mix in some calls and news throughout the whole show tonight, because I know some of you out there would love to call in, and maybe you don't want to stick around for the entire show. So I hope everybody is doing good. I'm not going to lie to you. A few of my family members have Omicron. Not expected. Roger Rubio with the $10 super chat, my friend. Hope I've had a Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to myself in the chat room. Much love. Let's have a great show. Absolutely. And smash that like button. Thank you, Roger. Much love. And, you know, I don't see super stickers don't pop up. But I know earlier, was it Sal that sent in a super sticker? Much love, my friend. Thank you. Wow, shout out to James Pasco, who's live right now, and he got COVID for Christmas. Look, you know, some are asking what family members. Well, let me tell you this in chronological order. Luckily, it appears I don't. I have no fever, no cough. I did spend the holidays with some of my childhood friends and my family. I got to be honest with you. I was offline for most of the 2 days, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And I got to tell you, I will never, ever say that social media as a whole is terrible or the internet. It's not. You know, unfortunately, the toxic people are the loudest people out there. But I tell you, you turn the phone off and you keep the computer off for literally 2 days straight, with the exception of 5-10 minutes tops total. What a difference in conversation, having fun. Your focus is on the people that you're with, not looking down and playing with the phone and this and that. Man, I had more fun, conversation, and laughs the last 2 days than I have had in the last 358 days. I'm kidding you. I'm not kidding. But the deal is, my fiance's dad, his birthday is on December 23rd. Her mother is December 24th. They had relatives over both of those 2 days, and it ends up that one of her brother's kids is hit with Omicron, and someone else got hit with Omicron as well. She is here, and on Christmas Eve, I spent it with some friends. Christmas Day, I spent it with my family. Part of today, I spent it with them as well. And my brother's kid has COVID, has Omicron. Good news is that she had a fever on Friday and it broke yesterday. And by today, she felt a lot better. They're going to do another COVID test tomorrow and hopefully it comes back negative. But I want to just tell everybody this really quick and we'll move right on to wrestling. I promise you. Wherever you live, the United States, Australia, UK, wherever you live, when you see the numbers coming out right now with Omicron cases, there's something you really have to realize. And believe me, I know this might sound like Captain Obvious stuff, but believe me when I tell you, it is much more substantial than you think. The symptoms for Omicron is basically a cold. Little fever, but mostly a cold. You don't lose your sense of taste. Some people, unfortunately, go to the hospital. Yeah, unfortunately, some people who get old or have other issues, you could get the flu and drop dead over it. So, you're going to have some people go to the hospital over this. But here's the thing. My niece never got a COVID test done. She's not back there. Why am I doing this? My niece never went to the doctor. It got tested positive for Omicron. Her mother went to Walgreens and bought a whole bunch of tests. And she took the first test, it tested positive. She took it the next day, it tested positive. She had a fever. So she had the symptoms. My point is that not everybody is going to run to the doctor simply because they feel a little cold, a little fever, a little shangada. Who wants to stand in lines to get a test done at a clinic? Who wants to stand in lines at Christmas time to go see a doctor? So we all get cold during the year. We all get viruses once in a while, stomach virus, whatever. So just picture my niece's scenario. She tested positive on the at-home tests. I guarantee you there are millions and millions of people out there who did test positive for Omicron, but never went to the doctor, was never registered. They just basically bought an at-home test, tested positive, taking aspirin, taking vitamin D, feeling a little bit better, and that's it. So believe me, those numbers are huge right now. You got to be careful. I mean, I know it sounded dumb when I said it Thursday night, but I actually did it yesterday. Every time I hugged a family member, I held my breath. Ma, Merry Christmas. Is that so hard? You don't talk right in people's faces. You don't get right up close. I feel fine. Knock on wood. Knock on flesh. Bob the Builder with the 2-spot. Have I ever interviewed wrestlers on my podcast? Bob, I interviewed Conan because along with Joy, and I know some people are like, oh, here it comes. No, I'm just answering the question. You may know that Conan needed a kidney transplant a little over a decade ago. It was yours truly and Georgia Macropolis, God rest her soul, that did the drive to raise the money for his transplant. And one of my listeners back in the day, Chad Broadwater, who I still once in a blue moon say hello to, and I still follow him on social media, Chad Broadwater, who was a listener of my show, donated his kidney to Conan. So other than him, no, but the Mass Maniac, when he was doing his shows, I would co-host it with him. So, I would pretty much stay silent for most of the shows, but we interviewed, tons of people in the past. Jake the Snake Roberts, D'Lo Brown, the infamous New Jack episodes. If you've never heard the New Jack episodes, in fact, I know for the channel members, I have an episode up with New Jack and Axel Rotten, with the Mass Maniac and myself. And that interview, I swear to God, I mean, any of you that have heard it, I'm not exaggerating, your medulla oblongata will explode. That's how much laughter there is. You would never be able to do an interview like that in 2021, the way everything is PC. But I think I'm going to make that public for everybody. In fact, maybe tonight, if I have time, if I'm still awake, I'll put it up on the regular stream, the Blue Wired stream for everybody. And, but, for the most part on my channel, no. And honestly, that is why I don't have guests. I've been doing this since 97. And it's humbling to know that each and every one of you that tune in, whether it's audio or video, however you tune in, you're tuning in for me or for Mish. You're not tuning in because a guest is going to be on. And I used to, back in the day, used to have In Your Head and all these other podcasts rub it in my face that they had more viewers. But that's because they had Steve Austin on as a guest, or they had Eric Bischoff on as a guest, or they had Jesus Christ on as a guest. So obviously they had people tuning in that don't give a shit about the hosts. They just wanted to hear the guests. So the fact that we get these numbers and not have guests on, it's almost like a running, not a joke, but it's like I have a streak technically of about 25 years of not having guests on my show, with the exception of Conan with the Conan Drive. And I know we had that porn star on once. What was her name? Trina Michaels. But it wasn't an interview. She just followed the shows and loved the shows. So we chatted with her for a little bit, but it wasn't an interview. So Tyler, you are so right. My viewers and my listeners and my lurkers are as pure as it gets. There's a lot of you out there that will never, write a comment or call into the show. That doesn't mean that you're any less than anyone else. I mean, I love my family out there. You are all my family. I kid you not. So, I want to thank everyone, and I'm looking forward to 2022. I'm really excited for 2022. Keep in mind, we got a couple of things going on, health issues and stuff, but I think we'll be good. And in September, I get married, which is going to be awesome. Now, New Year's Eve, I am going to do a show. I had a talk with the missus. She does not want to go out in fear of Omicron. So basically, we're going to have a nice, quiet dinner beforehand. And then I will come up here live New Year's Eve. We will stay on until about maybe 12:30, 1 a.m. Look, if I was able last year to be able to put the TV channels on the screen when I didn't even know half the shit that I was doing with the production side of this, I should have no problem streaming some video in the background of some of the TV stations. So you're welcome to join me. I'm probably going to start the stream around 10 o'clock. I was thinking of starting it earlier, but I think 10 o'clock is probably a good time to start it. This way we'll go from like 10 to 12:30 or 10 to 1. And, she'll probably make a little cameo to wish all of you a Happy New Year. So as Dusty Rhodes, this is not the elbow. This is my way of saying, let's move on. Let's move on. I opened up with the banner of Corporal Kirchner. I honestly don't know who made up that banner. Props to whoever did. I did not have time to make a tribute banner for Corporal Kirchner. I was amazed that nobody made one. I mean, I looked at all the feds. They didn't make one. They paid respects and paid tribute. But he died a few days ago at the age of 64. I was told it was a heart attack. Look, Corporal Kirchner, me growing up as a wrestling fan, I started watching wrestling in 1979 as a kid. I didn't even understand what I was looking at that time. Once 82, 83 came around, that's when I understood it, got addicted to it, went to wrestling shows as a kid and followed it religiously, and it's been that way ever since. I will tell you, with all honesty, in my opinion, when Corporal Kirchner came to the WWF, I always felt it was the WWF trying to create a younger version of Sergeant Slaughter. Corporal Kirchner was in the military for at least 2 years. I haven't read his bio in ages, but he does have a military background, and I've always said in the past, thank you for your service. Absolutely. The guy was a true patriot, loved his country, and they tried. I don't think Corporal Kirchner and the WWF ever lived up to the expectations that they wanted him to be. But I will tell you, just remembering some matches in the past, he got over. He definitely got over a little bit. But I think because of Sergeant Slaughter, it always looked like he was in the shadows. You know what I mean? Like Slaughter was a sergeant. Kirchner was a corporal. So it just always felt like Sergeant Slaughter was up here, Corporal Kirchner was over here. But I tell you, Super Leatherface. I mean, we talk about wrestlers who transform their gimmicks into something totally different. I mean, latest was Bray Wyatt turning into the Fiend. But him turning into Super Leatherface was pretty freaking wild. You go from like, and it's almost similar to like, it's like the opposite of the sheep herders. The sheep herders became the bushwhackers. And if anybody out there has never seen the bushwhackers when they were the sheep herders, people, their jaws will drop. They'll be like, they did that? I mean, bloodbaths. The bushwhackers, they went from bloodbaths to licking kids' heads. Corporal Kirchner went from the patriot, military, in real life, but character also, to Super Leatherface, the chainsaw. Incredible. He definitely carved out a nice little career for himself. 64 years old is way too young. Corporal Kirchner, Michael Penzel, rest in peace. Rest in peace. You will see me with pen at times today because I am definitely going to put timestamps. I know a lot of you find it more convenient. Not every topic you want to tune into. I also want to make mention, as you could see with the shirt, it is 1 year ago today that John Huber, Brodie Lee, passed away. I mean, God, we just said Corporal Kirchner at 64, taken way too soon. 41, gone. John Huber. Can't believe it's a year already. Just want to go off topic for a second. AS7607, I would need you to email me, dontony@dontony.com. There's a few people on here, including myself, that put a little something together for you for the holidays. We know you've been going through a lot. She is good people, as everybody knows in the chat, so you got to reach out to me on email because I don't have your contact information anymore. So, but getting back to Brodie Lee, 1 year ago already, and I know some of you are going to write it. Don't even want to bring attention to it. There are a few people out there that used the anniversary of his passing to make it all about their shows. Talking about people are putting him on this pedestal and this and that. Look, man, that guy was one of the most genuine, precious, authentic, good people in this world. I don't give a fuck about his wrestling ability right now. I didn't give a fuck about his wrestling ability a year ago. I always loved Luke Harper. I always loved Brodie Lee. Had shirts and memorabilia of him when he was in perfect health. I don't need to prove my fandomhood for John Huber. My point is that people looking back on him today are mostly looking back at the man, the father, the husband, the friend, the neighbor, the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. They all love this man. You do not, I mean, when I think of his passing, I think of, hold on. I think of Shepard. I'm drawing a blank right now. From Crime Time. I just total brain fart right now. What was his name again from Crime Time? I'm thinking, I know the character, obviously, but I'm just trying to remember his real name. And sorry, I have a tribute shirt of him. It's Shad Gaspard. Thank you. You know why I said Shepard? Brad Shepard. See, Brad, how fucked up is that? Brad Shepard, Shad Gaspard. The names are so freaking close. I think that's where I got the brain fart. I did not want to mention that asshole's name. Brad Shepard, Shad Gaspard. Wow, this name's. But when I think of Brodie Lee's passing, I think of Shad Gaspard. I mean, beloved. Not just entertaining in ring. You know, the guy was just beloved. So I think mostly everybody today, thinking back of Brodie Lee 1 year ago, are thinking about the man, the human being. And there's no question. I've said it over the years as well. it's just common sense. When people die young, especially tragic, as the years go by, because of the love, you commingle the love of the person with the career, and it inflates them. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you have said, oh, or heard people say, oh, if Owen Hart didn't pass, he would have been WWF champion. Really? Let's be honest. Seriously? With DX and The Rock and Austin, like, there was almost no chance. You look at Brian Pillman. Oh, if Brian Pillman wouldn't have passed, if he didn't have that car accident with the Hummer, he would have been heavyweight champion. Really? There was so many people had the stranglehold on that belt at that time. They weren't going to break through, but a lot of people inflate the value because, and that's human nature. That's normal. But the man just passed 1 year ago, the day after Christmas. I mean, and people today, like that asshole Shepherd, to write that stuff also. Oh, and you know how you know that it's just for hits? And look, I follow one of the guys that's involved with his shows. Not everybody that's involved with him are bad people. I want to make that clear. But, you know, one of them immediately says, oh, you have a problem? Call into the show and speak out. You don't want to have hits because you're a dick. You know what I mean? If you want to make the argument that people are, but I don't even see anybody saying, wow, if Brodie Lee wouldn't have passed, it would have been heavyweight. Like, I don't see anybody doing that. I don't see anybody doing that. To write that unprovoked, that's cheap. That is cheap. Just my opinion, man. I'm trying to be respectful here, but that was an absolute dick move. That guy was taken from us way too soon. And you see all the love, I tell you, of all the wrestlers who have passed, maybe with the exception of Shad Gaspard. You don't get cross-promotional tributes where, you know, wrestlers are retweeted. I mean, that felt like it changed with Shad Gaspard and Brodie Lee. When they both passed, you know, it just, man, it sucks. It sucks. So rest in peace. I hope he is continuing to rest in peace. I hope he is kicking ass up there. And, man, taken way too soon. Way too soon. Another anniversary today, just to lighten up the mood a little bit. Today is the 38 year anniversary of this. It is the 38 year anniversary of the Iron Shiek with Ayatollah, not Freddie Blassie, not classy Freddie Blassie, Ayatollah Blassie beating Bob Backlund in Madison Square Garden to win the World Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Championship. And I got to tell you, that memory is so vivid in my mind because I was a huge Bob Backlund fan at that time. You know, you all know the story of meeting him when I broke my arm and he signed my cast. We went out to eat afterwards. Bob Backlund maybe sucked on the mic, was not a good promo. But he held that championship from 78 to 83. And sure, to the very end of his title run, it started to get a little bit, you know, bland. But that guy was an excellent heavyweight champion. And Sheik beating Backlund, I don't think any of us expected it. Anyone out there that is older like me that says, oh, we all knew, you know, bullshit. Bullshit. None of us thought that the Iron Sheik was going to win. And the son of a bitch won. And it's 38 years already. If any of you out there ever want to go back and check that card, December 26, 1983, there is a match you need to watch also. I did watch Rampage. Now, I know what you're going to say to me. What does that have to do with Rampage? I watched Rampage. And I saw Hook's second match. And I saw a boatload of people losing their lunch because Hook no-sold the suplex. No-sold the suplex. This is all they could get. If you want to see the king of no selling, I promise you it is on YouTube. If you watch it tonight, in fact, what I'm going to do, when I go like this is for everybody in replay. When I go like this, you're going to see a link for the match. You must watch the Magnificent Morocco and Captain Lou Albano versus Jimmy Snuka and Arnold Skaaland. Matches, it's gaga. It's a gaga match. But if you want the king, and nobody ever talks about this, you want the king of no selling, it's not even close. In the history of me as a wrestling fan, not even Hogan, I got to take my glass off this, not even Hogan, when he would get hit and he'd be like, not even that, when he's hulking up. Captain Lou Albano, by far, the greatest no-seller in the history of pro wrestling. Not even The Undertaker. He's better than The Undertaker because The Undertaker would always get up. But once in a while, The Undertaker would struggle. Captain Lou Albano, in 1983, during this match, was 50 years old. Was slightly younger than me. Was 50 years old. And when you watch this match, every time Snuka hit him or Arnold Skaaland hit him, and this was not just one match. He did it all through his managerial from I would say, the late 70s until he turned babyface. Because once he became babyface, nobody put his hands on him. You watch, every time he got hit, he would never sell it. He would just turn around like a robot and just walk away. It is the funniest shit. I promise you, if you watch this match, post, and I'm not doing it as a ploy to post a comment in the comment section. Watch the match and then post in the comment section and tell me if you ever saw anyone else no sell like him. It is the funniest shit. I mean, Snook is giving him the infamous headbutt, and he just turned and just walks away. He just no sells it. Doesn't even express pain. It's funny. It's funny. So 38 years already. There you go. Iron Shiek wins the WWF Heavyweight Championship. All right. Okay. Let me talk a little bit about Ring of Honor for a second. I got to share this with you. We'll talk briefly about Rampage and SmackDown, briefly. Then we'll take some calls. Then we'll finish up the rest of the news, take some more calls, call it a night. I don't get wrestling news websites. More people reported as news that Paul Heyman, his WWE career is over. More people posted that as news than post what I think is actual important news. I haven't seen anybody, not one place, talk about this. Check this out. Impact Wrestling. Hard to Kill. January 8th. Jonathan Gresham. Maybe I'm missing something here. You tell me if I'm missing something here. Jonathan Gresham at Impact Wrestling's Hard to Kill is defending the Ring of Honor World Championship against Chris Sabin. Now, this is no surprise of what I said, that Ring of Honor right now is a name only. And they're basically licensing their name, that some of these wrestlers who are going to wrestle on other feds anyway, that because they are, quote unquote, the champion, it looks like they're defending a title, but it's for a promotion that's not even active right now. And again, if they really were reinventing and was still going to be a promotion in 2022, then why all the tribute videos? Why did Bryan Danielson say end of an era? Why? I mean, if the company's going on a hiatus for a couple of months because of COVID and financial reasons, all right, that's hiatus. You know, end of an era means going out of business. So look, I have no problem with these wrestlers, you know, defending these titles, but at least be a little bit more honest, Ring of Honor, about what's going on here. I mean, this is almost like Global Force Wrestling. When, the GFW title is being defended in Impact Wrestling where the fucking Fed is not even doing shows. So this is a title in name only being defended against Chris Sabin, okay? All right, fine. No problem. All right, now I'm going to show you something else, okay? I just showed you Gresham defending the Ring of Honor World Championship against Chris Sabin. Now, remember, this is January 8th. Now, follow where I'm going over here. Check this out. A new promotion. This new promotion is having an event January 16th, 2022. The name of the promotion, I have it written down over here. Hold on. Hang on a second. Let me just pull it up. Here it is. Terminus. Terminus is the promotion in Atlanta, Georgia. January 16th, 2022. Ring of Honor World Championship will be defended on that event. The champion is Bandido. But wait a minute. Bandido got stripped of the championship because of COVID. Now, I know what some of you are going to say. Well, DT, you know, maybe this new promotion, Terminus, maybe that's an old banner. Maybe that was posted before Final Battle. No, that banner was posted 2 days ago. So you have Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion Jonathan Gresham defending on January 8th in Impact. And then 8 days later, you have Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion Bandido defending the title in Baron Black. You see where I'm going with this? You got the same title being defended on two different events with two different people. What does that tell you? Well, since Gresham is defending it first, at Impact, nationwide television, it only makes sense that there is going to be an angle where Bandido is going to call himself the heavyweight champion. Now, let's go one step further. Look at the title that Jonathan Gresham has in his hand. The infamous belt with the big red letters ROH. Now look at the title that he has. Actually, I'll do one better. There is Gresham with his title. And there is Bandido with his title. Come on, man. You mean to tell me not one fucking news site out there or a podcast is going to bring up the fact that we're about to see a storyline where Bandido is going to go around with the other Ring of Honor championship belt and say that he never lost the title and he still considers himself? They're actually trying to do Ring of Honor storylines where the promotion is not even active. Yes, Arian, it's just like Moose being TNA champ. Here's the difference. TNA is owned by Impact Wrestling, which is still active. Yes, exactly. One fall. Gresham has the old school belt and Bandido has the current belt. Now, one person picked up on this. So be prepared, everyone. In my opinion, this storyline has to go down on Impact Wrestling because they're the only one with TV right now. Bandido has to show up with the belt. And then they add a little controversy. And then you're going to have Bandido try to defend that belt. Wouldn't be surprised if Gresham shows up at Terminus. But this is what to expect with Ring of Honor for the foreseeable future. To make a couple of bucks, they are having these titles being represented at other feds. Because if you take notice of something. Some of their champions who are still considered their champion, remember, before WWE brought back ECW, it wasn't like Rhino a champion and other people a champion, Anyway, take note, because I've noticed this, and I'm sure some of you have as well. And now you'll see all the websites bring it up, because that's what happens over here. A lot of people hear our stuff, and then they, did you know? Oh, don't forget this, and blah, blah, blah. Take note that some current Ring of Honor champions are appearing on other shows. And the Ring of Honor Championship is never mentioned. Because this is what Ring of Honor is doing right now. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. But I mean, Ring of Honor, be a little bit more transparent about it. Or better yet, for people out there that have these prestigious blue checkmark news sites and shows, how's about being a little bit more transparent and honest here as well? Okay, blah, blah, blah is going to wrestle on the show because he or she is not under contract with Ring of Honor anymore. But if you want to pay a little more, that person could defend the championship. So that's what's going on. I have no idea who owns the Terminus promotion. The bottom line is we got the same belt being defended on two different shows, and nobody's talking about it. Yeah, you look, little storyline is a good thing. But be a little bit honest about it. Like I said, when you had Joe Koff last week in an interview saying, all the fans got it wrong. It's not if Ring of Honor is going to return. It's when. Well then, Mr. Koff, then why the fuck did you accept all these tribute videos of people basically telling everybody it's the end of Ring of Honor, the end of an era? Posting that. Explain it to me. But you see, this is what happens. You see how the sausage is made. He gets away with the remark. Nobody challenges him, and it just gets left out there. So, Mongo Slade says Jonathan Gresham owns Terminus. I don't care if Santa Claus owns Terminus. What's the story? What's the storyline? Oh, if Gresham owns, now think about this. Think about this logic for a minute, Mongo. Actually, I'm glad you brought that up. Let's bring out this logic, okay? Gresham owns Terminus. Then why the fuck is he having Ring of Honor under Bandido defending that championship? Why isn't he the one defending that championship? See what I mean? This is ass backwards. This is ass backwards. I mean, what are we going to get? Is this going to be like two people behind the scenes at Ring of Honor? This person recognizes Bandido as the champion. This person recognizes Gresham as the champion. Is that what we're going to get? Is Koff going to say, oh, no, Bandido's the champion. And then you're going to get someone else that, no, Gresham's the champion. Just be honest. Shit. All right, let's move on. By the way, for my channel members, and listen, this is not a money grab. I would need probably about 200 of you to sign up for me to just break even. So this is not a money grab. But for my channel members here who support what I do, we're having 3 contests. I'm going to pull the winners New Year's Eve. One of the prizes, if you're interested, one of the prizes is going to be this autographed Steve Austin and Undertaker photo. The winner gets both. That is one of the prizes. Another prize is going to be the AEW Upper Deck cards of Adam Cole, Bryan Danielson, and CM Punk. One winner will get all 3. That is another prize. And the third one is, wait, this looks better. The third one is this dual autograph photo of MVP and Bobby Lashley. It has the WWE stamp of authenticity behind it. It is directly from WWE. I want to thank a certain special someone for sending me 2. So we're going to have 3 contests, and we'll probably have some more giveaways as well, but these are for the channel members. Just go into the community section if you're a channel member. Now, if you're not a channel member, the article won't even pop up. Because I had a few of you say to me tonight, like, I don't see the article. That's because you're not a channel member. But if anybody becomes a channel member, you're more than welcome. You have until Wednesday at midnight to enter, and there's, some details. But I just wanted to show, it's just a little something to give back. I mean, they also help, with some of the cost on the show. So, it is very much appreciated. Thank you very much. All right. I want to talk briefly about Rampage and SmackDown. All right. Let me just give you quick results. First, let's talk about Rampage. Okay. Commentators were Taz, Excalibur, and Ricky Starks. You had Jungle Boy over Isaiah Cassidy, which was nice to see Isaiah Cassidy in action, by the way. Chris Statlander over legit Layla Hirsch. They're now teasing Layla Hirsch maybe turning heel. After she loses, she refused to give the handshake to Chris Statlander. Man, you know me with my shows. I've been singing the praise of Layla Hirsch for a long time. I don't understand why she's not being utilized more in AEW. But hey, new year coming up. They're going out of 2021 with a nice bit of momentum. They're up about 14% in the Dynamite ratings in the last 2 weeks. Rampage is up about 16, 17% the last 2 weeks. You know, they're on the upswing. And no, it's not just because Kyle O'Reilly shows up. Let's keep it in perspective, everyone. I praised the crap out of Kyle O'Reilly on Wednesday, but let's also be honest. He's there for one major storyline, and then what happens, we don't know. He'll get a bunch of victories in the middle, like I said. They'll beat Dark Order 10, 20, and 50. You know, they'll beat, Jungle Boy Christian and Luchasaurus, which is a decent victory. And who knows, the trios belts. Remember, one of my predictions for 2022 is that AEW will debut trios belts. I don't do annual predictions all that often, but, a lot of people have been asking me to throw a few out there, and this is one I'm throwing out there. In 2022, AEW will debut trios titles. They're not going to wait until some of their wrestlers who are in these trios factions only has 6 months left on their deal. They're going to do it early on. And remember what I said on Thursday. I think 5 years from now, trios belts will be looked at in a much similar way as the tag belts. And I know what some people are going to say, like, oh, well, yeah, because they're both tag team wrestling. No. What I'm saying is that a trios belt will be much more recognized. I wouldn't be surprised 5 years from now that every federation, every promotion that has a big enough roster creates a trios title. Because by having the trios title, it actually, when you think about it, it does prolong some wrestlers' careers. I always compared it like the DH rule in baseball. When you have a player that can still hit a little bit, but you don't want them to field because it does take a toll on their legs, their body. But when they only have to get up and hit the ball and then go sit on the bench for a couple of innings, it does prolong their careers a little bit. The Edgar, I almost said Egner because I'm in eggnog mood. Edgar. Why is that so hard to say? Edgar Martinez. He always comes to mind. Somebody who's probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest DH ever. And having a trios belt and you only have to do 1/3 of the work, or if somebody's a little bit sore, they don't have to do too much in the match. You watch. That's going to happen. Shout out to Austin Nance. Thank you for the kind words, my friend. So, getting back to AEW, Hook beat Bear Bronson. Now, let me make this clear, everybody. The spoilers, a lot of us knew exactly what was going down. It's funny how with WWE, everybody posts spoilers. Last night, you had podcasts and sites acting as if it was live. So, a majority of us knew for days what went down. Out of respect for fellow fans out there, people don't even give a hint about it. But everybody pretty much knew, including what happened after the show was over with the slap. If you don't know about what happened, I'll tell you in a moment. It involves Hook. Yes, Layla Hirsch is signed by AEW. Hook beat Bear Bronson yesterday in about 4 minutes. All right, Bear Bronson basically gave him a suplex. I think it was a Northern Light suplex. And Hook gets up a few seconds later. Shakes it off. And then he goes on and gives the Taz mission, the Red Rum submission to Bear Bronson. We talked about it last week. Bear Bronson, much bigger than Hook. Bear Bronson, professional, stepped up to do the favors for Hook. Hook did not look bad in this match. When I see people putting Hook under the microscope, I mean, this is his second fucking match. Hasn't been on the indie circuit. Sure, he's been into schools, but 2 matches in his career. They did it to Tony D'Angelo, and they're doing it to Hook. Oh, title, dynamite, main event. 2 fucking matches. How's about 50, 100 matches before people start talking like that? You know how stupid these people look when they talk like that? He had a good match yesterday. Let's keep it in perspective. He's 2-0. Even Goldberg was like 60-0 before he even got a championship. So the next opponent for Hook might be Tony Nese. That'll be interesting. These wrestlers right now, they're designed to help guide Hook through the ring in his story. And he's done good for the last 2 matches. Let's keep it in a little perspective. Now I'm going to go one step ahead. Well, no. I'll tell you about, I'll go one step ahead. I know a lot of you already know that Cody Rhodes beat Sammy Guevara to win the TNT Championship. This is great for 2 reasons. Number one, it further teases the possibility of Cody turning heel, which is not etched in stone yet. The second thing is, and I think a lot of people didn't look at it like this, starting next week or the week after, they're on TBS. Rampage will be on TNT. Dynamite is on TBS. I don't know how often the TNT Championship will be defended on Dynamite on TBS. If this is designed for Cody to be featured on Rampage on a smaller viewed show, and the focus of Cody is left off of Dynamite, if people are intrigued by that storyline, that could factor in the ratings substantially for TNT with Rampage. And remember, Rampage, for the most part, is taped the same night. Excuse me for a second. I don't know, these glasses, my eyes are a little strained. I don't know why, but Rampage is taped usually the same night as Dynamite. So it's not like Cody has to wrestle on a different night. It's almost like what John Cena was doing. After SmackDown would go off the air, or even some Raw events, you would have John Cena wrestling. Oh, why is John Cena in a dark match? Well, it's because they're trying to treat the fans that paid in attendance and only got 15, 20 minutes of wrestling on a 2-hour SmackDown. Oh, this should be televised. No, it shouldn't. That's how it works. Over the years, we've had a lot of post-Raw and SmackDown dark matches. You get treats, extra treats. You paid tickets. Some people paid prime money. You get an extra big-time match. Man, I want to see it. Well, go fucking to the show. So Cody being featured after Dynamite goes off the air, for the people who are still live, that's kind of smart business. Kind of smart business. So after the show went off the air, Cody was in the ring with the Nightmare Factory and Tony Khan, and Hook was there for some reason. And basically what happened was Hook and Cody had a handshake. And Cody whispered in Hook's ear, "Smack me." Hook takes a step back. Now, we didn't hear him say, "Smack me." What do you think? I mean, Cody whispered something in his ear, and then Hook proceeds to give him a hard slap. And then Cody says, you know, the next time we're in Greensboro, I'm going to give you a shot for the title. And people are like, I saw so many people like, you know, I don't think that was planned. Tony Khan looked shocked. What the fuck did you think Cody whispered in his ear? You know, it was about you and me, you know, after the show. Yeah. Or, you know, I'd like to play some Hook, and I'd like to hook that. What the fuck did you think he said in his ear? He told Hook to slap him. And Hook gave him a nice slap, gave a little buzz. So, you know, I don't know when they're going to Greensboro again, but that's more of a challenge to Cody, to Hook. Keep it going. Keep it going. Next time we go to Greensboro, give you a shot. So that could end up being a Rampage main event sooner than later. Cody versus Hook. That could be Hook's first loss. Don't know. But it was good. It was a fun episode. I enjoyed it very much. Now we're talking about SmackDown for a few moments. First of all, as you continue to see, Drew McIntyre is the one being most affected with Jeff Hardy's exit from WWE. We talked about it a few weeks ago, that the pairing of Jeff Hardy and Drew was supposed to become a stronger bond and go at it with Corbin and Moss. And with Jeff Hardy's exit, you've seen basically almost nothing for Drew McIntyre. Now they have him trying to commingle a little bit with the New Day and this and that. I mean, they got to align somebody with Drew McIntyre soon, because I feel terrible for the guy right now. If you saw it yesterday, I mean, it just feels like, man, they really, it feels like they have nothing for Drew. I mean, who do you pair him up with? Personally, I think you put him with Ricochet. I know the pairing doesn't seem like it would fit or make sense, but that would be an interesting dynamic. Put Ricochet with Drew McIntyre, but it really feels that he is really being hurt big time because of Jeff Hardy's exit. Now, look, obviously Jeff's mental well-being and his physical health is important, and, you know, it's totally understood. By the way, those test results are going to be coming out very, very soon. And, you know, as Matt Hardy said, expect him to come back clean. And that's why that night, you remember what I said about Mike Johnson's choice of words, that Jeff looked to be in rough shape. You little fucking troll. You dumb fucking troll. Rough shape. Because people aren't stupid. With Jeff Hardy's history, when people read rough shape, they immediately think of him versus Sting. But before we continue calling him a troll, let's get the results back first. Then we go from there. Also on SmackDown, we had Toni Storm losing the SmackDown Women's Championship title match against Charlotte. Charlotte retains. Excellent match. You know, Toni Storm, regardless of what you thought about her in NXT or NXT UK or anywhere else, you know, this is a clean slate for Toni Storm on the main roster. I think a lot of people seem to forget A lot of people seem to forget, or they never bothered to look. Do you remember a comment that I said about Toni Storm while she was in NXT? Wasn't there a time that I said that she was like 0-12? Like in 12 straight? Toni Storm never had any great momentum since she came to the States. It is a slow build for Toni Storm right now. You do not put the women's championship on her right now. Why would you put her to the pinnacle where they're still trying to find her way? It's the same thing with Liv. I think Liv is much further right now than Toni Storm, even though Toni Storm might be better in the ring. Is better in the ring. I don't know what these people are thinking when they complain about stuff like this. Toni Storm had a great match yesterday. Charlotte is still many notches ahead of her. And by losing, I think Toni Storm won yesterday. By losing, she won. Her stock went up after that loss. It did not go down. And I know a lot of you know what I mean when I say that. I'm holding off the Paul Heyman one for a moment. I'm holding off for that. We had the 12 days of Christmas. Well, 12 days of Christmas. It was like a gauntlet match to determine who was going to face Shinsuke Nakamura at day one. Now, we knew for a week who was going to be winning this. But let me give you the participants in the match. We had Angel. We had Mansoor, Eric, and Ivar, the Viking Raiders. We had Shanky, Jinder Mahal, Drew Gulak, Cesaro, Sheamus, Humberto Carrillo, Ricochet, and Sami Zayn. They were all in the gauntlet match. Now, basically, two people would be in the ring, and whoever won would advance, take on a new opponent. Yes, Mike from New York, Shinsuke Nakamura, awful title reign. Not his fault. He shows up for work. Now, let's put it aside for a second. If you were Shinsuke Nakamura, if I was Shinsuke Nakamura, if any of you out there was Shinsuke Nakamura, and for the last 3 months, you only have to defend that championship once. And every week you show up and you're getting paid Nakamura money. You're not getting paid Gulakamura money. You're getting paid Nakamura money. You show up week after week for 3 months, and WWE says, you don't have to defend that title. Well, you could sit at ringside. You could be I like Nakamura. I'd be like, yeah, I'll take that. Fuck yeah. Look at the NXT North American champion, Isaiah Swerve Scott. Didn't he have that belt for 3 months and defended it 0 times for the first 3 months and then finally defended it and lost? When we go back in the history of, hey, you know what's funny about this, guys, gals? 10 years from now, you'll see what's that YouTube channel that does all the awful top 10s? What's the channel that does all those awful top 10s? Most of the time, they don't even make sense. Someone will know. They'll pin it right away. In 10 years, that same YouTube channel is going to look at the top 10 greatest intercontinental. What culture? That's it, Benjamin. What culture? By the way, I don't do coke. My nose is itchy. Allergies are bothering me tonight. I don't have the air on. It's hot in here. So if you see me going like this, sorry. I got a little bit of allergies tonight. I don't know if Cultaholic is as bad, but what culture is bad with that stuff? They'll do a top 10 years from now. Greatest intercontinental champions of all time. And Nakamura is going to be on that list. Because when you look back at the lineage, you're going to be, oh, well, he held the title three months. They don't look to see how many title reigns or title defenses he had. So anyway, in the order of elimination on SmackDown, By the way, we had Nakamura and Rick Boogs at ringside while this was all going down. And this gauntlet match lasted about 45 minutes, which was great. 45 minutes. It was a long time. When you add that and the Miracle on 34th Street fight, that was over half the show. So it was a nice Christmas-themed episode. The gauntlet match was not bad. For me, the stars of the gauntlet match was Ricochet, maybe a little bit of Sheamus as well. Basically, we had Angel and Mansoor open it up. Angel eliminated Mansoor. Then you had Eric of the Viking Raiders. He was eliminated by Angel. So we got Angel on a little run. And then Angel loses to Shanky. Okay. Shanky eliminated by Ivar. And you can see it's going back and forth. Ivar eliminated by Sheamus. Drew Gulak also eliminated by Sheamus. You had Cesaro now in the ring with Sheamus. Ridge Holland was at ringside. Basically, Ridge Holland distracted Cesaro. So Sheamus gets the cheap win. So now Sheamus takes on Ricochet. And Cesaro returns back to the ring. And he pushes Ridge Holland into a cameraman. Sheamus looks to see what's going on. So now Sheamus gets distracted and Ricochet with the cheap win. So Ricochet beats Sheamus. Ricochet beats Humberto Carrillo. And then Ricochet beats Jinder Mahal. So Ricochet's on a roll. But Ricochet now has to take on Sami Zayn. And Sami Zayn with the haluva kick for the win. So Sami Zayn will now take on Shinsuke Nakamura for the IC title. I know a lot of you out there believe that Sami Zayn is going to re-sign with WWE. Would not be surprised if the IC title is in Sami Zayn's very near future. I have a feeling 2022 is going to be a pretty damn good year for Sami Zayn. My God, I've had people giving me storyline ideas, even to the point where some people think that Sami Zayn and Brock Lesnar will ultimately team up and become tag team champions. I don't see that happening. But hey, I think Sami Zayn is going to have a great 2022. Look, Sami Zayn has not had a crappy career with WWE, but I think Sami Zayn, 2022 might be his year. And look, if he re-signs with WWE, he's going to have some gold in the near future. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope, look, I'm an AEW fan. I hope Sami Zayn stays in WWE. For sure, maybe the follow me around while I record everybody stuff, maybe that ate up a lot of months. But again, WWE is episodic television. I'd rather see Sami Zayn on my TV every week than to see him show up, have a match against Sammy Guevara, then disappear for 2-3 weeks, and then he gets involved in a bullshit battle royal and gets eliminated, almost matter of fact, and then disappears for a couple of, I'm sorry. I was thinking about Jay Lethal for a minute. Excuse me. How do you like what AEW has done with Jay Lethal for the first 6 weeks? 5-6 weeks. How do you like it so far? This is what happens when you got way too many people on your promotion. Way too many people in that promotion. Way too many. Remember Andrade? El Idolo. Remember that? The guy had a 3-month no compete in WWE, and then he wrestled, Matt Sydal for like 6 minutes, and that was his only match in the first 3 months for AEW. Now, Andrade is up to a notch, AEW's usage of him, but think about that. That motherfucker, and I say this with love, that motherfucker got paid for 6 months' salary and wrestled 6 minutes against Matt Sydal. And by the way, how do you like all those websites that reported that Charlotte and Andrade broke up? You never heard it on any of our shows. Hashtag, do I want to be first or do I want to be right? They all got it wrong beyond belief. You know, it's because people, they see posts. You know how they all got it wrong, everyone? I don't remember who trolled who. I don't know if it was Andrade to Charlotte or Charlotte to Andrade. I never talked about it here, but since somebody brought it up, I'll mention it. You know how they all got it wrong with their relationship? One of the two decided they were going to troll. Well, they both were in on it. They both decided to troll social media. Either Andrade stopped following Charlotte or Charlotte stopped following Andrade on social media. And somebody noticed it. And then one of these bullshit news websites noticed that somebody noticed it. And then they reported it as news. Our sources tell us, close. Yeah, they knew the maid that cleans the house. They knew the gardener. Who the fuck did they know? You know, our sources tell us that Andrade and Charlotte are no longer an item. And then right after that, added right back to social media. Haha. Oh, thank you, Benjamin. It was Charlotte that stopped following Andrade. I love when people troll like that, man. I'm going to unfollow you. Let's see if they pick up on it. That's how the sausage is made. I don't remember what we talked about a couple of months ago. Remember when I said about how the sausage is made and we brought up like 3 things that ended up being true and nobody reported it because we talked about it and we said, now watch everybody. And then everybody like, oh no, I can't bring it up anymore. All right, here's another one. Breaking news. And yes, in the comments, the description of tonight's show, I put Captain Obvious instead of breaking news. Captain Obvious. Paul Heyman saying that his WWE career may be over is a storyline. It is a storyline. Why are people reporting it as news? Now, people who did SmackDown recaps totally make sense. I saw websites, news, Paul Heyman, WWE career likely over. Who the fuck said that? It wasn't a part of a recap of the show. You do a recap of the show. Sami Zayn getting a title shot. You know, oh, it's not really. I mean, it's entertainment. That's just as but people were reporting it as news. Trust me, WWE is not going to let Paul Heyman go anytime soon. Even if he is committed to WWE and would not work elsewhere, they're not going to put that thought out there. Oh my God, could you imagine all these banners? Paul Heyman is all elite. God, people were even putting Roman Reigns' body on those fucking posters. Seriously. I want to give a wedgie, an atomic wedgie, to every Matarazzi that does that. Now, if you want to fantasize, fantasize. But why even put something like that? Yeah, you're right, Harris. Kayfabe News. That website is more legit than some of these sites as well. But look, the Paul Heyman stuff is a freaking storyline. Brock Lesnar, if Paul Heyman took one for the team and is going to swerve, we don't know what the storyline is. None of us know. None of us know. If Paul Heyman ends up staying aligned to Roman Reigns, if Paul Heyman took one from the team to prove his loyalty, that's not far-fetched. Even in Mafia, you know, you cut your finger, you know, you rub blood, you do things to show your loyalty. Take one for the team. Anybody remember Bully Ray's storyline with aces and 0.8s? He got beat the fuck out of by an entire gang to show his loyalty. Remember that? They had to do 8, and I might be exaggerating, they did like 8 video segments on an episode of Impact to try to make sense why Bully Ray getting his ass kicked week after week by aces and 0.8s, and he was the leader all along. What dopey schmuck does that? It's not his fault. It was Impact. His storyline. Does Big E have COVID? There are numerous people rumored to have COVID. I will not report anybody or speculate who has COVID unless they come out and say it or if WWE comes out and says it. And I don't think WWE would come out and say it. The wrestlers themselves would have to. So unless any of those wrestlers tell you that they were hit with, and look, I'm telling you right now, some wrestlers in WWE have been hit with Omicron. I think there's at least 2 or 3 cases of Delta. In fact, there's a few people that work behind the scenes in WWE. If you pay attention to their social media, they revealed in the last 24 hours that they have COVID. I don't want to mention their names, but if you follow some people who work behind the scenes in WWE, pretty famous names, some of them have revealed publicly that they are in quarantine. They got COVID. So I will not speculate. There are some names that are being thrown around, some very, very big names, and that's no pun intended. I don't want to insinuate Big E in any way. And by the way, much love. Okay, Fabe, kind of with the run-in, the 10 spot, my friend. 2022, looking forward to kicking ass. Look, I already told Monty and the Pharaoh. I asked Kenny Bolin. The invitation is to you. And I'm sure we're going to do something with a few other podcasts as well. Once we get into January, I will start focusing on, doing some collaborations with shows. It's just, like I said, there's so many things going on at the same time over here. It's been pretty hectic over here, but I thank you very much for that, my friend. Hope everything is good with you as well. And all the best to you, my friend. All the best. Much love. Okay, Fabe, good guy, good podcast, been around way before I ever started doing videos. Good guy. I know a lot of you know who he is. So, yeah, no, we'll do it. We'll definitely do it. I definitely want you to be one of the first. I know that doesn't sound appropriate, but it's not meant to be inappropriate. So the Paul Heyman storyline, sit back, relax, and enjoy the storyline. Let's see where it goes. Let's see if Brock Lesnar takes the bait and wants Paul Heyman with him. Maybe there is no swerve. Maybe they realign him with Brock Lesnar. I don't know. I will tell you right now, Brock Lesnar, I know this might be an unpopular opinion. I think Brock Lesnar has been doing a great job without needing Paul Heyman. Brock Lesnar doing a perfect job without needing Paul Heyman. I mean, I'm sure some people would get a little teary-eyed if Paul and Brock Lesnar reunited, almost like when Paul Bearer and The Undertaker reunited many years ago. Save me! Oh, yes, you can save me now. I can't do it unless I hear his voice first. Remember when he got buried in oatmeal? Oh, my God, that behind-the-scenes footage that leaked out during the day when they were testing him out? Oh, my God, if you've never seen the rehearsal of Paul Bearer, getting in that container and filled up with oatmeal, oh, my God, it's freaking funny, man. Rest in peace, Paul Bearer. Good guy, man. Good guy. Battle of the Pauls. Battle of the Rotund Pauls. So I should talk. So enjoy the storyline with Paul Heyman. It's not a, very controversial one, but his WWE career is not over. It's not over. All right. We'll take calls in a couple of moments. As I'm looking at my notes, I actually covered almost all the news already. So we could kind of like wrap up the news, then go to calls, and then we could call it a night. Because remember, now tomorrow, I will let you know now, speaking of COVID, Mish is a little concerned that he may have been hit with COVID. He and his girlfriend are both battling 100 or 101 fever. Tomorrow he is getting the test done, and, he'll find out. If he feels better, he will be on with me tomorrow. If he does not feel better, I will be up here solo. Maybe if he's around New Year's Eve, if he wants to come on for a little bit. But tomorrow is up in the air with Mish. So if you follow him on his social media, send him a well wish, because he is not feeling good right now. He's battling fever. He's got some symptoms for COVID. So I hope he's okay. And if it's Omicron, then, hopefully it breaks by today. Because like I said, with my niece, she got hit with Omicron. Within 2 days, she was much, much better. So, yeah, no, it doesn't matter if you're boosted, Mike. Like I always say, when you look at all these vaccines that we get when we were kids, none of them are 100% guaranteed. None of them are 100%. But you have some protection. You know, there's some protection. And, you know, with Omicron, you may have very little protection. Me, I'd rather have a little protection than none. So, anyway, all right. I wasn't going to talk about this. I thought about it, but I'm going to bring it up because I think it's worthy enough to mention. Now, I obviously was going to bring up this. Congratulations to Bret Hart. Bret Hart was inducted into the Canada Walk of Fame. It's a pretty big deal in Canada. It's a very big deal in Canada. And look, Bret Hart, one of the greatest ever to lace up the boots. I mean, we talked about it on Thursday, smooth as silk, just phenomenal. One of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Not even a question. Now, they had a ceremony, like a 4 or 5 minute piece inducting, because he wasn't the only person inducted into the Canada Walk of Fame. Chris Jericho did a pre-recorded video paying tribute to Bret. Now, you got to remember, this is mostly Canada, so that's why it was focused more on wrestlers in Canada. You know, anybody paying tribute. Even Bret Hart, when he thanked wrestlers, he thanked wrestlers pretty much just from Canada. So I'm not, and this is why I'm not making this a big deal. Again, I had put it as a title on last Monday's show, and then I decided I wasn't going to bring it up at all because Bret Hart being put into the Canada Walk of Fame, no matter who decided to pay tribute to him, it is very well deserved. Bret Hart is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Bret Hart, superior role model as well. And trust me, I have a relative. I don't want to get too deep into it. She is about 10 years older than me. And she was a gigantic Bret Hart fan in the 90s. And she got struck with a very bad sickness. I don't want to say what that sickness is, but it's a sickness that came around in the 80s. Now they have treatment for it. And she is still in like a nursing home. She's got a lot of, health issues coming out of it. And she had this beautiful Bret Hart leather jacket from the 90s. And she got an autograph from Bret. I don't know if it was 1996 or 1998. I don't remember if it was before the Montreal Screwjob or after. But she had written to Bret Hart because of what happened to her health-wise. And he wrote her back, sent her a bunch of things. So I know firsthand personally how wonderful that guy is. The reason why I wanted to bring this up also, and like I said, I don't want to get too deep into it because at the end of the day, this was for Bret Hart's Canada Walk of Fame. But I feel it's definitely something that should be mentioned for the simple reason that when I show it to you, you're going to say to me, DT, it is so right when you think about it like this. One of the persons who also paid tribute to Bret Hart for the Canada Hall of Fame is The Rock. The Rock talked for about a minute, congratulating Bret Hart, how much Bret Hart was a mentor to him when he first got into wrestling. Look, Bret Hart, definitely worthy of that tribute from The Rock. But I want to show you a screenshot. Ooh. That's a little small of a screenshot. Sorry. There we go. Look at the background. The Rock is in his gym, or in a gym. Looks like his gym because there's no one else around. And it's a selfie. If you watch the video, he is holding the phone. For the Canada Walk of Fame, The Rock recorded about a minute's worth of video in a gym doing a selfie. And I go back to what I said months ago. We knew for a very long time that this year's Survivor Series was the 20-year anniversary of The Rock's debut. No, what am I saying? 25 years. And you mean to tell me during all this time that he couldn't have grabbed his cell phone in the gym, in his hotel room, taking a shit? That's kind of exaggerated, but you mean to tell me, and look at the quality of the video. The video quality wasn't that good either. You mean to tell me all of the tributes on Survivor Series, because WWE had all these vignettes planned to celebrate The Rock's anniversary. And you mean to tell me that for all of these months leading up to Survivor Series, couldn't just grab that phone and do a 1-minute selfie video from his gym or his hotel room, thanking WWE and the fans and celebrating 25 years of The Rock? Not trying to be a jerk here. I'm just pointing that out. That you mean to tell me WWE planned this pay-per-view for a year? That's facts. Nothing. Couldn't do it the week before, a month before, the day before, the day of, 2 weeks earlier, 6 weeks earlier. Couldn't do a minute video. Just posting it, just pointing it out. Anyway, Kyle O'Reilly commented on him signing with AEW. Very professional statement, nothing controversial. Kyle O'Reilly says, and I quote, "Life is crazy, and I'm very grateful that my pro wrestling abilities have taken me to a new frontier in which to explore my ass-kicking ways. Proud to be a part of AEW, and thanks to Tony Khan for the opportunity. If you're a fan of mine from elsewhere, I hope you continue to support me. If you're new to Kyle O'Reilly, prepare to see a man that pours his effing soul in that ring every night and has an unquenchable thirst for cans of whoop ass. Also, Red Dragon is back." Very professional. I don't want to get into the whole Kyle O'Reilly stuff again. It will be, if anybody that's a fan of the Undisputed Era, and anybody who were fans of the Undisputed Era who always fantasized a feud with Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, now you're getting it. Look, there are wrestlers over the years that we always fantasized them wrestling in another promotion. The one that's been in recent years was Sting versus The Undertaker. Now, whether that would have happened in WCW, WWE, AEW, Impact Wrestling, wherever it was, an indie show, a convention, if people really were craving to see that fantasy match, wherever it happens, you want to see it. You want to enjoy it. You really fantasize about Bret Hart versus Kurt Angle. That was another fantasy match a lot of people wanted to see. I don't think anybody out there, if you really had a fantasy match and you had the opportunity to see it, but it's a promotion that you're not really thrilled about, you mean to tell me they're going to say, "Oh, no. I've been wanting that feud for years, but not for this promotion." You got to watch it wherever it is. So Kyle O'Reilly being brought in is designed for this feud. And again, he will have wins on Dark and Elevation to pad his numbers. This will help Bobby Fish because they will probably fight more as a tag team than anything else. This will pad numbers for them as well. And, this is the feud that everybody wants to see. The question is, after that feud is over, how much do fans really want to see Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly? Because remember what I said on Wednesday, that everybody seemed to run with the next day, not 5 minutes after when it first happened. They wait until after all these other shows do their thing. That you look at who the Undisputed Era feuded with in NXT. You look at Riddle and Pete Dunne and Ciampa and Gargano, and you go down the list. And then you look at AEW, with the exception of Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. I don't think there's anybody near that level compared to the wrestlers that were in NXT. And remember what I also said too, right after Dynamite went off the air. Undisputed Era formed in NXT while Triple H was there. The Undisputed Era disbanded in NXT while Triple H was there. So you can't turn around and blame this one on Vince or creative or anything else. It was just they had gone through so many people in NXT, there was really nobody left. You remember after Adam Cole feuded with Kyle O'Reilly, those two matches? Remember what we all said? Who does he feud with next? This was before a lot of releases. He had gone through so many people. It's like, what's next? So them leaving for AEW, it's not leaving a sinking ship. It's not leaving a toxic atmosphere. It's creating new opportunities. And we'll see what happens down the line if any of them ever go back to WWE. If there's enough opponents there, that might be a good fit. That's why I always say not everybody should sign in some of these companies, because it might not be a good fit at the present time. You don't want somebody signed, and then nothing. Because like I said, I used Jay Lethal as an example earlier. Jay Lethal is not 25 years old anymore. And Jay Lethal is more to start building and help the stars of tomorrow. His career is not over yet. But, when you see one match for the most part in 6-7 weeks, I don't hear anything scheduled for Wednesday with him either. But he faced Joe Schmuck on Dark. That's just padding numbers. So we'll see what happens with Kyle O'Reilly. I think this will be fun. We'll see where it goes. Sorry about doing this, everybody. We got to talk about Alberto El Patron for a moment. Alberto. The more I thought about it, the more I said, let's put it in part of the title. This guy, this is just opinion. This guy was facing life in prison. Now, he was acquitted more because the person who accused him did not show up in court. Think about that for a minute. Now, look, I live in a country where you're innocent until proven guilty. And Alberto El Patron was innocent until proven guilty. But the last thing that someone, I think, would want, if found not guilty, is you would want to be found not guilty and proven not guilty. Now, look, if any of you out there, I'm setting it up like this. If any of you out there were accused of something really, really terrible, you fill in the blank any way you want. Of course, your goal is to be cleared. Some people that have the money might be able to buy that freedom. Some people might have the money to be able to hire the greatest lawyers. Some people with the money might be able to settle with the accuser. Not everybody's in that position. And I'm not saying that Alberto bought his way out of this, but the point is, you're accused of something that could cause you to be in jail for the rest of your life. It is something extremely serious. Extremely serious. So when you're a high-profile person like Alberto, you want to be cleared, but it's also beneficial that it's proven that you didn't do it, because it doesn't leave any doubt in anybody's minds. You prove it in court, however they would have proven it, and you go around, look, I was accused of this, but it was proven in court. No, she didn't show up in court. So we don't know. We will never know what the truth was or what wasn't. So I say that because the fact that he was never proven not guilty, you would think that this guy, right after being cleared, that since people still have doubts, that maybe you try to be a little nicer, be respectful, try to convince the naysayers, because look, man, I've said it before, WWE, AEW, they ain't no way whatsoever that they will ever bring this guy in. No freaking way. He may go to AAA. He may have his own Fed. Who knows? Maybe Impact gets desperate. They bring him in. But this guy, his big gig is pretty much done. And he is now cleared, and you think that, okay, maybe these companies right now, have no interest, but you know what? I start trying to build that repair, the show, I'm very grateful. I'm a free man. I'm this, and this, and this. That's not the person that everybody painted me out to be. And maybe down the line, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, maybe people like, you know what? He's actually shown that he's not that person. This dumb motherfucker does an interview, not even a month after he's been cleared, and he can't get Paige's name out of his goddamn mouth. Alberto El Patron said this, and I quote, now, think about everything I just said. Damage control, prove the doubters. This is what he said, quote, the people who have wanted to damage me have been left behind. I don't focus anymore on that. I can't hold on to grudges. I don't have any interest in countering them. Okay. Not interested anymore. He then says this, but if I wanted to, in my hands, I have the power to take Paige out of a job in 2 seconds. I could bring out one of her videos of domestic violence and she would not be able to go back to work. I don't have any interest in that. I continue to thank God that Paige broke the confidentiality agreement that we had. Today, I am the one who can expose her and show the world who she is if she messes with me. I want my life in peace. I don't want anything about me on the internet. I don't want anybody talking. Paige can stay calm and no one will see your videos kicking my face and my neck. That stays forgotten if you don't talk about me. You are like the Latino version of Brad Shepard. The only difference is you are in decent shape. This guy just got cleared of charges that would have faced him life in jail. A lot of people think that he is this whack job abuser. He is finally cleared. Alberto, you were facing life in prison. Your freedom would have been over. And now you're a free man. You've been cleared of all the charges. How do you feel? I don't want grudges. The people who damaged me, I want to leave them behind. I don't want to focus that on anymore. I don't want to have any grudges. I don't have any interest in that. But Paige, if you show the video, if you keep running your mouth, I'm going to show them. You beat me up. I'm going to have you. This fucking guy is blackmailing her, acting like he's not blackmailing her. He can't keep her name out of his mouth. This guy is, seriously, they should come out with a new version of Looney Tunes. Just because he's this tremendously talented wrestler that I used to enjoy on TV. Just because you train all your life to be an awesome professional wrestler, doesn't mean that, he can pass an IQ test of a fifth grader. This guy is a moron. This guy just faced losing his entire freedom for the rest of his life. And instead of just being grateful for that, try to have damage control, try to show everyone, like, look, I don't want to, if you want to compare it to like me with my shows, that's like me saying, look, everybody, the people who used to stab me in the back, the people who used to stay shit behind my back, that's over. Look, I don't think about it anymore. And I've said that. Look, I just don't want to look. People said that. It's water under the bridge. I've moved on. I'm here with all of you. We're kicking ass. That's all that matters to me. I am grateful for all of you out there. The people who want to damage me, I leave them behind. I don't focus on them anymore. I cannot hold on to grudges. But Kevin, if you keep opening your fucking mouth, I'm going to post all the DMs of all the people that you keep telling me. No, I don't want to hold on to grudges. We got to leave it in the past. I want to look at the future. I want to show everyone that I am a good person. We don't want to hold on to that. But Joey 924, if you keep talking about me, I'm going to show them all the things that you do. This guy is a whack job. Seriously, Alberto El Patron and Devin Nicholson, Blood Hunter, seriously, let them form a promotion and let them fucking stab each other in the head with spikes and have TMZ cover it. Maybe it'll knock some sense into them. Give them rubber spikes. I don't want to see anybody cut and bleeding. Give them rubber spikes that were meant for like cartoons, where it makes the funny sounds like bring, 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 bring. These guys are stupid, man. Holy shit. Great wrestler. What did Roddy Piper used to say? Great wrestler. Itty bitty brain. What a moron. Shit. Fuck is wrong with you? I'm facing life in prison. Even if I knew that the person that I was accused was not going to show up in court, and I'll sit back and relax. 21 more days, then court. Then I'm free man. 22 days, 18 days, 4 days, 2 days. I am free man. Alberto, you're now a free man. How do you feel? We leave everything in the past. The people who put me down, the people who hurt me, I don't want to think about them anymore. But Paige, if you keep talking about me, I'm going to... My God. Paige, thank God you left this whack job, man. Seriously. And look, for all we know, look, I'm not saying that everybody's innocent, but Jesus Christ, seriously, for any heterosexual women out there that Alberto might be your type, stay away. Stay away. I don't care what he offers you. Stay away. Make a big mistake. Big mistake. If you get attracted by him, just download one of his photos in the privacy of your own home. Satisfy yourself. About 10 minutes later, we smoke a cigarette. We go get something to eat. We don't think about it anymore. For women, I don't know if it's any different, but just please do not get involved with this guy. This guy, he's whack job, man. Whack job. Some good news, everyone, and I think this is well-deserved. Tommy Dreamer is back with Impact Wrestling. I'm just putting a screenshot with Alberto. Oh, I did put a screenshot with Alberto. Oh, we talked 11 minutes about Alberto. Tommy Dreamer is back with Impact. Not yet as an on-air character. Fightful reported that. Fightful got an exclusive that Tommy Dreamer was doing the production and working in behind the scenes. He had that suspension for quite a while for what he said on the Dark Side of the Ring documentary. And look, even if was taken out of context still. The words he said, very inappropriate, especially decades after the fact. But, I think, Tommy Dreamer, deep down inside, I think everybody knows that, this is not a bad man. I was always very disturbed when I heard the story about what he wanted to do shortly after ECW closed down. But, I hear nothing but good things about the man. So he's back with Impact. He loves wrestling. Wrestling is his life besides his family. And he's back with Impact, and that's a good thing. So he is uncanceled, Benjamin. He is uncanceled. Before we take a couple of calls and call it a night, if anybody that is interested, Women of Wrestling, if you want to check out previous episodes of Women of Wrestling, they are now available on the CW app. I've never downloaded the CW app, but I know a few of you who have brought it up in the past, and I never really thought about it. But they have episodes of Women of Wrestling. So, Women of Wrestling for Tessa Blanchard down the line. And now, they have AJ Mendez involved with the promotion with the Future. So pretty cool if you want to go check that out. The only other article, it's not really an article, is another category we're going to be doing for the Blackhearts Year End Awards, then we'll take calls, is Announcer of the Year. And I don't want to put announcers' names in here simply because they did commentating. So I want to come up with a list. And again, these lists are not etched in stone. I will be putting them on in the community section. In case anybody has any one they want to add. You see, like Sammy Guevara and Cody for the TNT Championship. That match was excellent. We didn't have any clusterfuck finishes, straight up. Obviously it went outside the ring, no countouts or anything. But the point is Sammy versus Cody a top 10 contender for match of the year? I don't know. But this Cody versus Sammy showed why you do not do your year-end awards too early. Last week, we had Bryan Danielson versus Hangman Page. Definitely deserving to be in the top 10 match of the year candidates. Will it win? I don't know. We didn't even get into that category yet. But this is a perfect example why you wait until 2021 is completely over and before you put up the categories. Now, when we get into other categories, 1 or 2 weeks is not going to change it. It's not going to change nominees. So, yes, Cruiserweight, you missed the Bret Hart talk. We talked about it a few minutes ago. So now with Announcers of the Year, I came up with a few choices. You tell me if we should add others or if I should take some of these away. And again, I'm not putting people on this list just because they're a commentator. I think Pat McAfee definitely deserves to be on this list. Pat McAfee, breath of fresh air. I mean, I did a complete 180 on Pat McAfee in 2022. Going into 2021, going into 2021, did not like Pat McAfee at all. Way before NXT, just did not like the guy at all. And I give you all a lot of credit, basically making me see the light. Pat McAfee deserves to be on that list. You know who also deserves to be on that list? Even though I don't know if he'll win it, but I was really surprised as to how many sites out there left his name off. I think Ring of Honor's Ian Riccaboni deserves to be on that list. That's a guy, Brandon Looney Tunes fan, 2000, just subscribe. Welcome to the family, my friend. Much love, much love. I think Ian deserves to be on that list. Will he win? Probably not. Maybe didn't call enough events this year, but I think he is excellent and deserves to be at least acknowledged on this list. I think Jimmy Smith and Corey Graves deserve to be on this list. I know Corey Graves could rub some people the wrong way, but the guy is just solid in the commentator's booth. Jimmy Smith, I would not vote for, but Jimmy Smith has been solid as well. I think more people may like Jimmy Smith than they do Michael Cole. And I don't have Michael Cole on this list. I don't think Tony Schiavone should be on this list, with all due respect. And you know me, I've been a supporter of Schiavone since day one. Excalibur, I don't know if Excalibur should be on this list. I've been impressed with his work because he identifies a lot of the wrestlers' moves that a lot of us would not have a clue of what they are. I kind of like Excalibur. I don't think Jim Ross should be on here. And I know I will not put somebody on here for nostalgia purposes. Unless you all feel that he should be on that list, I would put him. And I don't think Taz should be on this list either. I don't think Taz has done enough. So that leaves, for me, Pat McAfee, Ian Riccaboni, Excalibur, Corey Graves, and Jimmy Smith. Should I take any names off of that list? And are there any names that I should put on that list? Believe it or not, I'm getting a bunch of love for Taz. Oh, yes, Wade Barrett. Absolutely Wade Barrett. Wade Barrett, without a doubt. I think Wade Barrett has been awesome in NXT. Love Wade Barrett's work in NWA. Wade Barrett, I mean, he fit like a glove in the commentator's booth. We could put Taz on there. Okay, we're getting a bunch of votes for Taz, so we'll put Taz on there. Crazy Shem about Adnan Virk. Okay, I had a feeling his name was going to come up. Not as an announcer of the year. I originally was going to have a category for worst announcer of the year. The thing is, Adnan Virk, I know probably would have taken it. The reason why I decided not to have that category is because Virk was only there for 6 weeks. And I think there was a lot of pressure put on Virk, undeserving. It didn't work out, but I don't think we should look back at Adnan Virk like Mike Adamle. You know what I mean? Virk, you watch him commentate, analyze baseball, hockey. I'm impressed. The guy is smooth. I think he just entered a world that, he was not prepared for. And I don't think we should have that category, just to have somebody who was there 6 weeks to win it. And then if you put, was Michael Cole really that bad this year? I don't think so. Was there really a really bad announcer this year? I can't really find any. So I decided against having worst commentator of the year. So I don't want to have worst categories just to have them. I know a lot of other people will do that, but I'd rather focus on who was really good. So Nigel McGuinness didn't do enough. Not enough exposure, even though he was doing stuff overseas, not enough exposure in the States where majority of people, we have to use names that majority of people watched this year and heard or viewed. Jericho was more of a guest. Doug Denslow, welcome, my friend. Just subscribed. I know you can't see it. There you go. Welcome, my friend. Much love. Jericho, I think, was more of a guest than anything else. By the way, I hope Jericho's doing better. There's been some rumblings that he had some bronchial issue, not COVID related, but he was not allowed to sing, no commentary, just rest. So I hope he's doing better. So I don't, Chaos. I'd love to put Chaos on the list, but we're trying to focus on national television. So, damn, you know who I think would be awesome in the commentator's booth? If he ever decided to do it full time, I think MVP would be freaking awesome in the commentator's booth. I think MVP down the line has a future as a commentator. I don't know if he'll do it, but I think MVP down the line is going to be someone to look out for. So maybe this is the list. Like I said, this is not the final list. Every category will be put in the community section to let everybody battle it out. Anybody we should add or maybe take away. So, yeah, Kevin Owens, I think, would be great as well. Absolutely. Look, I like Vic Joseph. I don't know if Vic Joseph would be considered like top of the year. Vic Joseph is definitely on his way. Guy, I enjoy his work. I've always defended. I like the stuff on Raw. I really enjoyed his work on Raw. I know for some people, they just absolutely didn't like it. I don't know why, but they didn't. So we got Pat McAfee, Ian Riccaboni, Excalibur, Wade Barrett, Taz, Corey Graves, Jimmy Smith. So we'll wait for the community section about Jim Ross. Again, I'm not going to put, look, I know this sounds cold, but I don't think Jim Ross himself would want to be put on the list simply because he's a Hall of Famer, simply because he's the greatest or second greatest of all time commentating, just because he's been dealing with skin cancer. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want those reasons to put him on that list. Was he a standout top of the year? I'm a huge fan of JR, and I don't know if I can answer that. So, yeah, I agree with you, Philip. Excellent, excellent point. Philip thinks, thank you for the 5 spot, my friend. He thinks CM Punk would be a good commentator. Look, CM Punk did a couple of guest spots in AEW, did a fine job. In AEW. I think CM Punk, knows how to help elevate or even Jericho was doing this. He knew how to enhance the value of what some of the young stars were doing in the ring. So that is a good thing. D'Lo Brown is a good compliment. I don't think D'Lo Brown would be recognized as announcer of the year. I wouldn't put it that far. Look, we'll look into when I put it in the community section. If there's enough people that feel Vic Joseph should be added to it, I'll be more than happy to add him. But remember, if you think that Wade Barrett did a better job than Vic Joseph, then Wade Barrett should be on there and not Vic Joseph. There's some of you out there that feel that Vic Joseph did a better job than Wade Barrett, then you definitely speak out on it. So, Vape, is that correct? Is that correct? I'm going to check this out right now. We may actually have some news right now, everybody. I'm checking it. Let me see if I get an answer. Okay. Yeah, thank you, Vape Ross Vape. Seth Rollins has revealed that he has COVID. Seth Rollins, in a tweet, wrote, "Merry COVID Christmas to me. I love football." Yeah, so it looks like he is battling COVID. There are already about 700 comments, and almost every single one of them is feel better, best wishes. So if Seth Rollins did not have COVID, I think Seth Rollins would have clarified his comment very, very quickly. So I'm going to put Seth in the synopsis later. Best wishes to Seth Rollins. Now I got to don this Seth Rollins shirt tomorrow. I'm going to have to put out. So, no, one fall. No, not necessarily. One fall is saying, is Seth Rollins out for day one? That is interesting. But remember, if it's Omicron, if he got COVID, it's really going to depend how many days ago that he got COVID. Because remember, we don't know if he's vaccinated. It's none of our business. We don't know if he got Delta or if he got Omicron. And you got to remember this too. This is very important. I think every single one of you out there need to think about this. This is very, very serious. A lot of people get tested positive for COVID that show no symptoms whatsoever. We don't know if Seth Rollins even had any symptoms. So if he is vaccinated and he had almost no symptoms, the only thing stopping it is if he is contagious. And if he caught COVID 6 days ago, 5 days ago, day one is not for another 7 days. So a couple of days from now, he might test negative on a PCR test. So I don't want to say that he's out of day one. If he had symptoms, it does take a little bit out of you. We don't know if he had vaccination or if he had antibodies before. So, remember, even when some people are like, look, best wishes to Seth, and I say that as well, it could very well be a situation where he had virtually no symptoms. So the big question is, number one, is he feeling okay? Number two, does he still have it? Number three, if he doesn't have it, he's got to test negative on a couple of tests. So let's see what happens. Yeah, we don't know about Becky Lynch, Bash. That's why, like I said earlier, I don't want to speculate. There's some people out there that see people missing the last week or so, and right away they immediately think, were they off for the holidays or were they off because of COVID? I will tell you this. When it comes to Roman Reigns, because a few people brought up Roman Reigns, when it comes to Roman Reigns, remember his medical history. Once again, we don't know vaccination status. So if he is vaccinated, then he has some level of protection. But because of his previous health issues, he's got to be a little bit extra careful. So it may be a situation that because this Omicron is going around, and again, there's a lot more people that have it than you think. I talked to you about my niece earlier. This may be a situation where Roman Reigns has got to stay away from as many people as possible. Does he show up just for Brock Lesnar and that's it? So I don't want to speculate. If anybody has it and they're out for day one, obviously WWE will report that. So, so as of right now, no one else has brought it up. But keep those thoughts because it's going to happen. Right now, you got people, especially with the podcasts, that are racing to go on YouTube. Seth Rollins, test positive for COVID, out of day one, without knowing for sure. Right now, there are people racing to get hits, to get noticed off of Seth Rollins' status. Keep everything in perspective of what I said. We don't know what symptoms he had. We don't know if he was previously vaccinated. We don't know if it's Delta or Omicron. We don't know if he's still testing positive for it. We don't know if it happened 5 days ago or if it happened yesterday. So all those factors will determine what happens with day one. So, all right. I think, are we done with all the questions? Yeah, I think we are. Just a random comment. Jonah, Bronson Reed, he did an interview a couple of days ago and revealed that he has like the Big Kaz contract. He is on a very short-term deal with Impact Wrestling. And he's already teasing, like, you don't know where you may see me in 2022. I think 2022 is going to be the year you're going to start understanding the contracts of AEW, Impact Wrestling, and some of these other promotions compared to WWE. Yes, the wrestlers are independent contractors in WWE, but you're starting to realize Impact Wrestling's contracts are much more, and I've seen them, especially if you remember the situation happened with Karrion Kross with them owing him money. He sent me all the statements, and I saw it with my own eyes, which is still, when Scarlett did an interview the other day and said, don't expect her and Karrion Kross, Killer Kross, back in Impact Wrestling. Trust me, I think a big part of it is what they did to him last time. And like I said, I don't know if he showed it to anybody else but me. He sent me all the legal papers, and I saw every penny of what he was owed in Impact Wrestling. And if I was Killer Kross, I wouldn't go back there. I wouldn't, unless they fucking paid me that money from before, tripled it, gave me an advance pay, gave me all this stuff, and the amount of money that was involved, it's more about disrespect than anything else. My point is, when you see Jonah admitting that his contract with Impact Wrestling is a very short-term deal, Impact Wrestling's contracts are a little more complicated than AEW deals on the lower end. We've talked about that before. So I think 2022, people are going to start understanding the type of deals that some of these people signed. That is why Jonah signed a very, very short-term deal. I'm not committing to a year of this. I'm not committing to 2 years of this. Or on the flip side, Impact Wrestling, you can't pay this guy for 2 years. We can't give him what he's looking at. No, we could do it for 3 months, and we'll milk him for everything we, use him as much as we could for 3 months. Then we'll see if we could extend him a little bit further. That's what happened with Big Cass. Big Cass signed a very short-term deal with Impact Wrestling. They extended it a little bit, and we'll see if they keep him a little bit longer. So, all right. If you guys want to call in to chat a little bit about anything specific that you want to get into, I will open the phone lines. Like I said, all I ask is just keep the calls, brief, so we could get as many people in as possible. We already did 2 hours, so I'd like to go maybe another 30 minutes if there's anything specific that you want to get into. If we don't need the whole 30 minutes, then we'll end it a little bit early. So I am going to pull the phone lines now. Do I have the other number here? Okay. I got to read you the other number because it looks like I may have accidentally closed it over here. 833-366-8686. I believe that is the other number. 833-366-8686 or 225-366-8669. And, you can call in, like I said, talk whatever you want to get into. Let's just keep it a little brief. And we are off and running. Good evening. You're on. Who's this? Hello? We lost him. Shout out to AS7606. Much love. Much love. Definitely don't forget to email me later. And I will contact you privately and I'll let you know what I was talking about earlier. So, all right, let's open the phone lines again. Good evening. You're on. Who's this? Oh, we lost this person. All right. 833-366-8686 or 225-366-8669. Let me turn it off, turn it back on. Yeah, no, we're not doing I don't do 900 hotline. So hopefully I'm not getting little problems with the connecting. All right, let's see. Hey, you're on. Who's this?
Hey, DT, this is Nir. How are you doing?
Good evening. How are you?
I'm good. I'm going to keep it short. I just wanted to wish you and everyone in the chat Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I'm sure this is going to be a hell of a year for you and everyone. This is going to be a hell of a 2020. I'm going to go back to bed because this is chemo day.
Oh,
so
good luck. How many treatments so far?
Thank you.
Is this your second?
This is going to be the second.
Second. Okay.
This is going to be the second. and it's gonna be between 4 to 8. It depends on how he will respond. I'm pretty sure it's gonna end quickly.
Good.
The doctors are very, very optimistic, so
awesome.
It's gonna be great.
Awesome. I wish you luck.
So Merry
for that.
Christmas, DT.
Merry Christmas to you also. All the best, my friend, and definitely let me know tomorrow if you're up tomorrow or Wednesday. Let me know how you feeling and how it went, or just email me. Just email me at your convenience.
Sure. We're gonna have a hell of a year.
Yeah.
By the way,
definitely.
I have a good announcement to share. Me and my wife are expecting.
Oh, awesome!
So
was this number 2 or 3?
Yeah, this is gonna be number 2.
Nice.
Yeah,
very nice. That is awesome, man. Everybody in the chat, here's gonna be a daddy once again. That is awesome, man. That is awesome. I got to keep it quiet because she, she sometimes brings that up to me. I'm like, I'm too old, to have kids now. So I can imagine if I have a kid now. I don't want to reveal your age publicly. You're a lot younger than me, but if I have a kid now, and then it's time to take the kid to high school for and people are gonna be like, is this your grandfather? I'm like, I ain't going through that. No freaking way. So I'm too old for that. But congrats, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, some old goof asked me. I walked with my daughter, and he asked me, "Are you the grandfather or the father?" I'm like, "What? Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
The funny thing is,
that was funny.
Yeah, when I was a kid, what people would say to my mom is, "Oh, I didn't know you had a sister." And then my mom would be all flat and everything. That's what they would do. If you're a girl, they would say that, "Oh, I didn't know you had a big sister." They would say that to your daughter. But because you're a guy, they'll do the opposite. They'll say, "Oh, is that your grandfather?" And people are weird with that stuff. That's awesome, man. Congrats. Send my regards to your wife also. Awesome.
Thank you. Much love, DT. Bye-bye.
All right, I'll talk to you before the new year. Be well. Good luck with the appointment.
Bye.
Take care. Very nice. Very nice. And not so nice. I muted the other line by accident. So, that's awesome, man. We're closing out 2021 with some great news, man. I'm telling you, I got to repeat, being offline for the Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, other than maybe 10 minutes, I checked emails. I wished everybody a Merry Christmas. I stood offline for the eve and the day. I had so much fun conversation with family and friends. I had more positive talk and laughs the last 2 days that I had almost a whole year outside of the shows. And it was awesome. So, all right, let me open the phone lines again if you want to call in. 833-366-8686 or 225-366-8669. And hope I'm not having any issues tonight with the call connections because I see 3 missed calls and I didn't even see the calls come in. So, Joseph, thank you for the kind words. I'm not looking to be a grandfather anytime soon. It's funny. I have a friend of mine. His mother had him when she was 14. She was 14. He had a kid when he was, I think, 18 or 19. So by 34 years old, his mother was a grandmother. She wasn't even 35 years old that she was already a grandmother. That is crazy shit when you think about that. So, all right. I think we're having some issues, and I'm not kidding. I don't know if you could see this, but I took the do not disturb off, and there's 6 missed calls, and I don't have it going directly to a voicemail. So maybe we'll take some questions in the chat instead. I don't think COVID ends in December of next year. I think it's going to stick around for a few more years. I mean, the one good thing about this is the Omicron is now becoming the dominant variant. So if somehow Delta gets out of here and Omicron is the dominating variant right now, if the worst thing that can happen is people are battling colds, and have a decent immune system, and so many people are getting it so quick, the more people get it quickly. I don't believe in the herd immunity stuff. I think people need to, have protection. But if this variant doesn't protect you, like with the vaccines don't protect you, the quicker, the better. I mean, you look at South Africa, we talked about it the other day, the numbers went up like this with Omicron, and then they went like this. And hopefully the UK, it's going to start being the same thing, and then the US will follow. So, wow, looks like, people are telling me it's going to voicemail. I'll reboot this one time. We'll give it a shot. Let me see if I can reboot this. I am so sorry. I'm turning it off. You can see it's off. Just turn it off. I don't want anybody to think I'm fibbing here. I don't mind taking calls, but David R. became a grandfather at 43 and he thought he was young. Yeah, no, good friend of mine. His mom became a grandma at like 35 years old. That's crazy, man. Okay. It's turning on. It's turning on. You could see. So, how am I going? Okay, good question. How am I going after my fall? Believe it or not, tomorrow I'm going for X-rays. We're pretty much convinced that I fractured bones in my bad foot because it's still swollen. I can't bend it. And I don't know if you all remember, I said the weirdest thing happened to me when I fell. I had a bruise on the bottom of my foot. The bottom of your foot? I had a bad bruise here. I never, ever had a bruise underneath my foot before. And it's still really, really, let me explain it like this. After we take this call. Hey, you're on. Who's this? No? Okay. Let me see. I think rebooting it might have fixed it because I saw numbers coming in. So let's give it 1 second. Hang on. Okay, I think we're good. We'll get back to that after. Hey, you're on. Oh, there we go. All right, so our phone lines are back. We'll try it again. We'll give it a shot. You ever have something on the floor and you push it aside with your foot? Like you like have like a shoe and you just like push it out of the way with your foot. You don't feel like bending over and grabbing. So you just I can't even push something aside with my foot. Like if there's something on the floor and I just want to like push it aside, I can't even do that. That's how much it hurts. Adrian, do I think Johnny Gargano will return to WWE? It is very possible. Hey, you're on. Who's this?
Hey, Al from South Florida. How you doing, Anthony?
Hey, Al. What's going on?
Hey, very interesting show. You heard a lot of different things you were talking about. You were mentioning about the virus. It's funny, not funny, but on Facebook the other day, some lady got that virus. I think what's the new one called again? The
Omicron.
Yeah, she went on a cruise and got the virus apparently, or so she said.
It doesn't.
I don't know how that thing. Yeah, I don't know how it works. Like, aren't you supposed to stay? I guess it was maybe at the end of the cruise coming back, and they say about quarantine. But I can't. I don't. If your cruise is ending, I don't see them keeping you on the cruise. For 14 days. To have to not be near anybody.
No, they wouldn't do that. They would probably dock, and then the person would probably have to go like right to their car and go right home from there. I mean, the amount of money that would have to be spent to keep somebody on a cruise ship for 14 days, plus this Omicron, they're saying that within 7 days, like you could go from having it to be completely clear of it. So, no, I don't think that that's much of an issue. The problem is,
I think this lady had. I don't know. I'm not going to ask her. I don't know her that well. I just know her from Facebook, and she lives not from where I live. I think she had both. I don't know if she got both she had both the vaccines. She even had the flu shot, which has nothing to do with it. And then I don't know if she had the other one, the latest one,
sure,
the third shot. But she was sick and getting sick and then she had like fever, but then it broke up for her after a day.
Yeah. That's it's pretty much, that sounds like Omicron because that's what happened with my niece. After a day, her fever was gone and she felt better. So,
yeah, I found I had somebody in my family that I don't know them, but like, when you have cousins you don't know about, somebody in my family is like young, I guess in middle school, got the virus.
Yeah.
But I guess she's better.
Yeah.
So I was going to say real quick too, I was listening to your show the other week. Remember when you were the Captain Lenny? Because I used to call your show and you had Captain Lenny on there and he was on the Mass hotline. I think you were mentioning, what's interesting is you mentioned that girl. I used to actually, I don't know her personally that much, but I used to talk to her actually. She lived down here in Florida a long time ago. The girl ate me.
Yeah. I remember she walked for breast cancer in Florida, and I remember I contributed to her drive that time. I remember she was walking for breast cancer in Florida. Yeah, and I remember hearing some of her mother, unfortunately, died. And I know my mom actually had breast cancer, but beat it. Oh, good.
She got it like more than 10 to 15 years ago. But I remember her from newsletters. I used to get back in the day, the Chatterbox. And there was another newsletter where a guy named Bobby Rydell, I think his name was, or Bobby somebody. Yeah, Bobby Rydell sounds very familiar. Bobby Rydell sounds like a 50s singer. It could very well be the same name. I don't know. It could be one of the two guys that was with us. Like I said, if I reached out to her, I would get the answer, but I haven't talked to her in ages. Yeah, I just talked to her. Yeah. I know she was married. I remember her telling me once, this was such a long time ago, she was managing a wrestler in New York. And that might have been around the same time frame when you knew her, maybe a little bit after. I think that's her last name is from her, or she's married Andy, maybe his name is Vitality or something like that. Could very well be. I got to look it up. I bet you, that could be, because what I found out was last Thursday. Was it last Thursday? Whatever day that we aired the Lenny stuff, I found out that night that we did it, it was 2 days before was the anniversary, because that Velocity aired December of 2004. So I remember that. So it was the anniversary of it. He kept on saying, I remember back then listening when he was like, I don't know where they get these guys from. I'm thinking they come from thin air. I guess he was talking about the wrestlers, because they were, wrestlers that probably wrestled in the pit. And that guy he used to call up, and I remember calling his line. He was like, this is Captain Lanny on the pod, stuff like that. That's how he sounded on the phone. He was a real, I used to call your hotline, the Mass Maniac hotline, and Captain Lenny's hotline, just to hear how goofy he was on the phone. Very cool. Very cool. They don't know how you could make money off hotlines back in the day. Yeah, absolutely. I remember. Yeah. So that was cool. I'm looking at the persons that she managed, and I see a Francisco Vital. That might be him. I gotta look him up and see, but could very well. He wrestled in Francisco. He wrestled in another thing. I think he wrestled in Deep South Wrestling when they had the developmental deals. Yeah, I'm gonna look it up. I'll look it up. I mean, because Alex Porto also sounds familiar, but he was at WWF, and I know for a fact the guy I was hanging out with was not in WWF. So I think it might be Francisco Ciazzo. It could very well be, but I'm going to go check it out. I'll find out. Yeah, that was great listening to that back then. It was like memories from back in the day. Yeah. I remember that guy was a goofball. I was going to ask you a quick question also real quick. I don't know if I asked you this last time, but I don't know. What is your opinion with the AEW net roster? I'm not saying it's necessary, but do you think if they were going to have another championship, they have now 2 women's championships, the tag team division sometimes reminds me, I'm not saying it's like, you remember back in the day, WCW had the United States. I'm not saying it should be the United States, but tag titles. But with the tag teams, I say eventually, with the Briscoes going in, eventually the Hardys. Do you think there's a need? I don't want to say there's a need for it, but with the amount of tag teams and combination, and then you have teams that are sometimes put together. I'm not saying they would win the belts. How they throw together people on their shows on YouTube sometimes. Is there a need to have possibly another tag title? Because with WWE, I'm not trying to compare WWE. They have, if you count the 2 NXTs and those shows, they have 4 tag titles and not even enough tag teams. Meanwhile, AEW, the company has a diverse roster of tag teams where they could have a certain amount of tag teams compete for another title. Teams that probably, not that they're not good, will probably not win the world tag titles anytime soon. You know what I'm saying? Halfway decent tag teams that are pretty decent and good. They'll have the trios titles, and that's what the Young Bucks will go for. That's what some teams will go for. They'll have a trios title.
And even some people have two belts, two partners, they'll go and add a third, and they'll go for trios belts, and that'll solve the problem.
Yeah, I think if they do that, though, then there would be no need to have another tag title on top of having a trios.
No, they'll just trios is good enough. Trios is enough.
Right. And to mention, you mentioned about Brodie Lee. And the first time I heard about Brodie Lee actually was back in the days, back when you had back during the Hotline days. Sure. Remember that wrestling group, Pro Wrestling Unplugged?
Sure, I remember.
I remember Johnny Kazner had him on there once, and you called the hotline. He was talking to him. That's when I first heard him. But I didn't. Obviously, a lot of us didn't know him personally, but I thought he had a very good sense of humor too. If you saw some video, there was a funny video.
Absolutely.
With did you ever see that video with Dalton Castle on him?
Probably. There's so many skits with him and segments and behind the scenes stuff and things that were done over the years. The Johnny Kazmir stuff I haven't seen in ages, but yeah, I'm sure I've seen it because we all used to check out that stuff back then.
Right. He had he had a lot of good friends. Obviously, when he was in AEW and then outside the independent scene and WWE, even the guy that my brother knew from high school, one of the members of the Ascension I'm pretty sure was friends with him because there was videos with him. Something with video games they were doing, probably from that YouTube channel that the guy from what's his name, Xavier Woods has. So let him rest in peace. And it's a shame he passed away so young. And it's good that what AEW is keeping his name alive and helping out his family. But at the same time, that I think it's a shame he died so young, and wish he was still with us. A lot of these guys, even Corporal Kirchner, died. No, pretty young too, I guess, in the 60s. Wasn't he in the 60s?
Yeah, 64.
Yeah. He actually used to, I heard he used to live might have lived in the same city I currently live in, a small town years ago. And I remember years ago, the Malenkos used to run a wrestling promotion down here. Back in the days, a lot of the guys like Norman Smiley and Gangrel started out there before they made it big when they first started wrestling. Yeah. And I remember going to a rodeo show. And Iron Shiek took on Corporal Kirchner down here in Florida, when they were both no longer in the WWF.
Sure. USA versus Iran. Absolutely. That's indie promotion's dream back then. Sure.
Yeah. All right. I'm glad you had sound like you had a good holiday, and I wish you well, and I hope you have a good New Year, man.
Thank you so much. You do the same.
All
the best to you.
Safe.
Be well.
Take care, man.
Okay.
Bye.
Yeah, cool call. Fun topics. Good evening. You're on. Who's this?
Don Tony, this is Doc JK from New York City. How are you?
Good. What's going on?
Listen, dude, I'm sitting here eating Chinese food. I want to wrap up Sunday evening. I love listening to you. I can't take all this morbid talk. I need you to be excited. I want the callers to be excited. I need to talk some crazy professional wrestling. I hope everybody is well and healthy. But, dude, let's have some fun. It's the holidays.
Absolutely, man. Shit. I might even consider getting drunk on New Year's Eve on this show. So I'm serious. Listen, I've been on this keto diet for ages, and I already told the missus I'm probably going to come up here New Year's Eve with a whole pizza pie and a bottle of something, and we might just eat regular food, drink, and just have fun for a couple of hours.
Dude, do it. I am eating bowls of Chinese food right now that I drove all the way out to Long Island to get, and I live in the Bronx. Forgive me, okay? Have as much beer as you possibly want, and let's enjoy this.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yes, without a doubt. Love it. How's your Christmas so far?
Oh, it's been good. I saw Mom Saturday. I saw Mom Sunday. I saw some friends throughout.
Good.
Just got to have fun during these times. Got to stay positive. Man.
I mean, what you're saying is the poster child of what everybody should be doing right now. Everybody should you can't get, and because you're in New York, you can't get brought down from this COVID stuff or the crime or de Blasio or any of this other stuff. Just enjoy yourself. Just have fun. I mean, you turn chicken shit and turn it into chicken salad. Take the worst and just find the good out of it and just have fun.
There you go. If I had a hot girl, I'd be even happier.
I can't help you there, but I don't share. But I got very, very lucky. But listen, definitely if you're around New Year's Eve, if you're not doing anything, call in New Year's Eve. We'll chat a little bit. If I don't talk to you, have a good New Year's Eve, but all the best to you.
DT, you too. All the best to you and your family. And come on, let's talk positivity. Let's talk wrestling. Let's talk about the Knicks are. Let's talk about how good the Cowboys are. Okay, let's get after it and have some fun.
Absolutely. Much love.
Take care.
Take
Bye-bye.
care. You too. Now, I didn't want to piss him off, but the Knicks, yes, absolutely. Love the Knicks. The Cowboys, I'm a Giants fan, so I can't root for that. I tell you, props. Everybody, that's the vibe that we always try to have. I mean, even if you don't call into the show, even if we're just hanging out online, that's the vibe. The way he just came across, that's what I always try to gun for. And like I said, I saw people writing in, retrospect of 2021, it's sad that the negative is the most, more positive, like that gets the most popularity right now. I saw somebody writing on a tweet earlier that they put up a best of article and then they put a worst of article. And the worst of article is getting like 10 to 15 times more viewers than the best of, because people just want to talk about or focus on the negative. And it sucks. It sucks. Like I said, there are a lot of people out there that will just complain and rip and put down, and misery loves company. But sooner or later, the positive side, that is going to outweigh it. And, you can only complain so many times. I don't know too many people who met their significant other, met their boyfriend, met their girlfriend, met their husband, their wife, met anybody over bitching or complaining or putting things down. You go out, you have fun, you have some drinks, you have some laughs. When you meet someone, you go out on a first date. You don't go back and like when they used to do the Love Connection. Oh, how was the date? Oh man, what was the host of the Love Connection? I can't remember his name. But they didn't come out there and say, oh, yeah, we went out for drinks, and we were talking about how COVID is fucking up this country. We were talking about de Blasio doing a shitty job and all this crime that's going on and just how life sucks right now. And speaking of sucks, yeah, I think I scored that night. Yeah. Anybody that's ever met, like, a partner or something over, like, horrible, negative shit? I don't know anybody. When does the new mayor come in? I don't know what, January 1st? I have no idea. I don't know, January. That I know. It's not Chuck Berry. It's Chuck Woolery, Larry. You were right. Chuck was it? Yo, Chuck. Chuck Woolery. Chuck Berry is the singer. Chuck Woolery. That's who it was. But seriously, anyone out there? Hey, I'm going out for a first date Friday. Hey, good luck. Good luck. Hey, how was it? Oh, we were just talking about how life sucks and everything like that. Yeah, we're going on a second date. I think we hit it off. Anyway, I think the phone lines got stuck again, believe it or not. I'm looking at all these 217 area codes, 518-754-833, which is the toll-free number, 866-321-64. Everybody's trying to call in. For some reason, it's going to voicemail. So, I'm going to turn the Do Not Disturb back off and back on, or vice versa. Let's see if we can take maybe one or two more calls and then get out of here for the night. Because remember, I'll be back here tomorrow, but I just don't know if Mish is going to be joining me. So if you want to call in, this is your last shot. If it goes to voicemail, my sincere apologies. But we still had a fun show tonight. Laughs. Oh, let's try it. Hey, you're on. Who's this? Hello? Nope. Didn't go through. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. I am so sorry. That is on me. I accidentally, you know what happened? Call back, because when I muted the call, when I disconnected, I forgot to unmute it. So I guarantee the person was like, hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? That was on me. I'm sorry. Whoever that was, I am so sorry. You call back, I'll connect you through. Yeah, it sucks, man. Mike, it sucks. I mean, I see it, but like I said, I stood offline for the 2 days and just focused on my friends and my family. And it was awesome. It was awesome. All right. The numbers, once again, 833-366-8686. Hey, you're on. Who's this?
Hey, Liz, that was me you muted.
Oh, sorry about that, Liz. Liz, sorry about that. I had you on mute.
I was doing that.
Yeah, that was not.
I was doing it. Hello? Hello, you there?
I had a feeling.
I'm like, okay,
yeah.
I'm off.
What's going on?
Yeah, hey, I want to say congrats and prayers to Nair. And prayers to you. Hope you get everything straightened out with your feet.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And when you slipped, I bet you slipped on the step and you hit the bottom of your foot on the edge of the step. That's probably how you got the bruise on the bottom of that one.
Yeah, it's all a blur when it happened. All I know is that I literally had to crawl up my stairs. I couldn't put any weight on either one. And all I kept thinking about was, I got to go in for a heart procedure 3 days later. How the hell am I going to do this? You know, I went to, but you know what? My ankle feels a lot better. It's definitely a bone bruise and it's swollen still, but not as bad. I'm still going to get an x-ray on that one just to play it safe. The other one I'm concerned about. Because when I had my car accident in 96, they had all these pins and screws in it. And where it hurts is right at the spot where I had a pin. So I'm a little nervous. As long as they don't have to re-break anything, even if they tell me, look, it's a little fracture, but, you know, it's not displaced. So as long as you just stay off of it as much as you can, you'll be fine. That's good enough for me. I can deal with the pain. I just don't want to hear, because when I was a kid, and I brought this up once before, more than once, me and my friends were hanging out in the park when I was a kid. I climbed the top of a sliding pond and we were pretending wrestling, and I was on the top of the sliding pond and I thought it was Jimmy Snuka on top of the cage in Madison Square Garden. And I did the I love you sign and I jumped off the sliding pond to give a splash to my friend. He moved out of the way and I landed on my ankle, and my ankle went like this and I broke my ankle. And when my father brought me to the hospital, they had to reset my ankle. And you're talking the 80s now. So they reset my ankle, and all I remember is my father next to me. And I remember feeling it and hearing it, and I saw my father. He had this cold sweat on his face. Like they had to re-break my ankle and set it. And that was painful. So I'm hoping technology's changed where they don't have to do that. But, you know, I'm just hoping it's nothing serious, so.
Yeah, me too. Because, like you said, with them pins in it, that's nothing to mess around with.
Yeah.
But on the Rampage at the end there, did it sound to you like they piped in a few cheers trying to cover up the booze with Cody winning?
You know what? I heard it and I wasn't sure. And to be honest with you, I have not heard any reports of AEW piping in cheers or jeers as of yet. Have they done it? I wouldn't doubt it, because there's been some episodes where the noise doesn't seem to match the reaction of the people near ringside.
Yeah.
But, you know, they could. I wasn't sure. I will say this. If you look at the crowd when Cody pinned Sami, a lot of people did jump out of their seats. So I think the reaction was authentic. I really think it was authentic.
Yeah,
I don't think
hope
they piped it in.
Yeah, because it's like, Tony says, okay, we're different from WWE. They don't pipe it in, but they have Justin Roberts now. They stole a line from Heyman, the defending champ.
Yeah.
I know he's been saying that a lot lately now.
Tony Khan does a lot more that is similar than people think. He just has to come across as like a renegade and outsider, but it would be stupid for him to try to go against everything. But could they have piped in some? Sure, absolutely. But I did see enough people react to the pin getting out of their seat and cheering. So I'm not sure. Sure, but I don't doubt that they have done it.
Yeah, maybe it was just off, with the recording and that they just didn't sync it right.
Yeah, but no, Dream in the chat, they definitely did react to it. If you go back and you watch the moment that Cody pinned, there was a decent number of people that actually reacted in a positive way to Cody. But, again, we don't know what the end game is with Cody. I mean, I'm sure the teasing is going to go on for a little bit longer, but it was an interesting match. I mean, it was fun, and we didn't have any interference. I don't know where Malachi and everybody else was, but I'm fine with it.
Yeah, and whoever that new guy is, I heard it's supposed to be a guy named Brodie King.
Yes, they haven't made it official yet, but it looks like Brodie King will be coming in and will be part of Malachi Black's group, which I think is great. I hope Julie Hart becomes a part of his group as well. I think that would be interesting. But, if they announce it, they probably will do it either this Wednesday or they'll do it for the first TBS Dynamite.
Yeah. I was surprised, though, even though the show was taped Wednesday, that they didn't put something in for the bout with Brodie Lee.
Well, I think because of Christmas, and I think because they didn't want to, bring everybody down, and it did happen the day after Christmas. So I expect them to bring it up on Dynamite. Even though it was just a day before, but still, I don't think they wanted to, bring it up during Christmas. I think they did the right thing with that.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it would have been downer even if they just put a thing at the end,
Sure.
With his picture.
Yeah, I think they'll do that
People
Wednesday.
still would have been like, oh, man.
Yeah, I think they'll do that Wednesday.
Yeah. Well, I hope you guys had a happy Christmas, and I hope you have a happy New Year and even a better next year.
Same to you. All the best. Yes, 2022 will be better. Absolutely. I think it'll be
I sure
much
hope
better.
so.
Yeah, I think so. I said at the end of 2021, if anybody wants to go back and look, I said I honestly thought that 2021 was going to be a lot like 2020, that a lot of people think simply because the calendar changes, that immediately things change. I didn't feel that way last year, but I truly feel now with so many people vaccinated and so many more people who have some type of immunity, natural immunity, that is something that we didn't have a year ago. And there's going to be some variants. There's going to be some, forms of it. But if it keeps getting weaker and weaker and weaker, then, we may have a new flu, but at least it's something that, if you get a cold for a day or two and it goes away. I mean, look, if Omicron is similar to the flu, that you have flu-like symptoms, because the flu, you could give it to someone and you have it for a few days. It's not much anything different. So if a wrestler has 102 fever, 101 fever, and it's not COVID, more than likely they're going to not be on the show anyway. So there's not going to be that much difference. It's just, we just don't want hospitals, overrun with it. So I think 2022 will be much better than 2021.
Oh, yeah, that's why I always get the flu shot every year.
Yeah,
because
I got it while I was in the hospital. I was going to go to Walgreens. I didn't want to wait online, and while I was in the hospital, the nurse says, "Did you get the flu shot?" I said, "No, I got the booster. I didn't get the flu shot." She wanted his flu shot. I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "All right, lift your arm," and she gave me the flu shot, and that was it. So yeah, I got the flu shot a week ago.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So we just got to be careful. We got to be careful. It's going to be around for a few years, but if we're careful, I think we'll be okay.
Oh yeah. I've been playing it safe myself. I don't go to town unless I absolutely have to, and normally if somebody's sick, I want to catch it. So far, I've been lucky. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
And I've had my shot, and I'm going to get a booster, and that, and but yeah, I'm making sure I'm protected against anything and everything.
It's the best you could do. It's the best you could do.
Yeah.
I mean, you just got to be careful. I mean, we have the freedom to be reckless if we want to. I mean, but we have to just be careful. And if you're careful, obviously freak things happen, but if you're careful, more times than not, you're okay.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll let you go, and you have a good night and a better tomorrow.
You too. All the best. Take care.
You too. Bye.
Thank you, Liz, for calling in. Look, everybody, I brought it up before, not to be nasty about it, but if you know there's a sexually transmitted disease going around, and you decide, I don't like wearing protection. You get it. You have that right to wear something or not. If you get a disease anyway, then, you got to deal with the consequences. You might wear protection and somebody might get pregnant anyway or something. Nothing is 100%. But if you take the precautions and you look at your surroundings, more times than not, you're okay. I mean, look at what I brought up before. My niece has Omicron. My fiance's brother's kid, who was at their house Thursday, has Omicron. As far as I know, I didn't get it. She didn't get it. My mom and my dad didn't get it. They live in the same house as my brother and his kids because we kept a little distance. Nobody talked directly in somebody's face. Nobody coughed in anybody's face. You wash your hands. You be careful. I think most of the people that are getting it, they're in some type of environment where there's a lot of people not wearing a mask. Could be a Christmas party. Could have been after school. It could be anything. And that's all you need is a few moments to be right in the close vicinity of someone who has it. And just a little bit of droplets, get your way. Even if it gets on your hands and then you rub your eyes or something like that, you could get something. Got to be careful. Got to be careful. But anyway, I think we're going to start bringing this home. I knew we were going to go longer tonight because we didn't have an episode yesterday. Ken, the chat is not avoiding you. It's not avoiding you. I want to thank you all for hanging out tonight. I'll be honest with you. I really enjoy doing these on Sunday night. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy Saturday night because that's at 8 o'clock as well. And Wednesday is fine. Monday is fine. But something about Sunday night, it's just, I don't know. It's something different about it. And we get a boatload of topics done on a Sunday. I think that makes Monday a little bit easier as well. Tomorrow night on Raw, I think we have Miz and Maurice renewing their vows. I know nobody's talking about it. I have a feeling we may see Beth Phoenix. She may show up tomorrow. I don't know. That is possible. Would they do it right before day one? I don't think so. But we'll see what happens on Raw tomorrow. Now, I don't think anybody else other than Seth Rollins reported tonight that they have COVID. I am checking really quick right now. So before we go off the air, let me see if anything comes up. Okay, we got Seth Rollins. We have Seth Rollins. Okay, let's see if a news report is careless or if they're responsible. WWE is making some changes to tonight's live events in New York City and Tampa, all while the company continues to deal with a COVID-19 outbreak. Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins versus Big E in a triple threat steel cage match, and Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch in a steel cage match were advertised at Madison Square Garden tonight. According to PW Insider, Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch, Big E, and Bianca Belair are not at the show. The report notes that Edge is now being brought in for the show as a replacement. Madison Square Garden did announce this afternoon that an NXT title match between Tommaso Ciampa and Pete Dunne has been added to the show. That match was previously planned for the Raw tour this week. They also made some notes that the advertised main event has been Roman Reigns and the Usos versus Drew McIntyre and the New Day. Charlotte Flair versus Sasha Banks in a street fight. And as of this writing, there was no changes to those matches. Did I mention earlier that on SmackDown we had that Miracle on 34th Street street fight? I might have left that out, but we had Drew and Usos getting the win on that match. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, whatever changes go down because of this. I mean, we don't know if Becky has it. And even if Becky doesn't have it, that they probably put her in quarantine for a few days just to be safe. So again, do not jump to conclusions and assume that Becky Lynch has COVID. She could very well possibly have it. But even if she didn't, it would be wise to put her in quarantine for a couple of days just to play it safe. Because remember, Omicron, the incubation, I think, is 1 to 2 days. So they may go 5 days just to be safe. So if Seth has it and she tests negative, they may keep her in quarantine for 3 to 5 days just to make sure she's not tested positive. Because the last thing you want to have happen is she gets it, Bianca gets it, she gives it to this person, and it just goes chain reaction. So, all right, everybody, now we can finish for tonight. So I want to thank you all for joining me for tonight. Big shout out to all of you making 2021 such a great year for doing these shows. If you would have told me at the beginning of 2021 that we would be doing a show on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, on Thursday, on Saturday, on Sunday, 6 days out of the 7. Friday's the only day that we take off. And yes, there will be, weeks that will take a day off, one day during a week, maybe a Wednesday here, a Saturday here. It's not always going to be exactly 6 shows a week, but, to think a year later that that's where we're at now, and to be on Blue Wire, a member of the Blue Wire family, that's crazy in itself. That is crazy when you look at it still. I'm blown away to be in such prestigious company. I love it. And we've only just started over there. I can't wait to see 6 months from now where that goes. But could not have done it without your support. Believe me when I tell you, if it wasn't for all of you tuning in, whether it's video or audio, and the YouTube numbers do not factor in. So the fact that my audio only family itself is that strong to show those numbers, that's the reason why I'm there. So to see where this has gone in a year, there's an old phrase, if it's not broken, don't fix it. I am not trying to fix anything. I just want to enhance and make it even better. So I do sound a little exhausted. I think it's a combination of pain because, the injuries are barking a little bit. But what's weird? I don't have it here, but maybe I'll show you tomorrow. I'll leave you with this. I had the angiogram, the heart procedure last Thursday. So when I left the hospital, they gave me an envelope with some papers in it. I didn't open the envelope. Yesterday, as I'm putting some gifts together and everything to bring to the parents' house, I opened up the envelope to see if there was anything in there that I needed or I could throw out what I don't need. And inside the envelope is a card. And it says, please keep in your wallet for 90 days. I'm like, what the hell is this? And I'm realizing now that they told me this right when I got out of anesthesia, and I don't remember the conversation. When they do this angiogram, they go through the artery right by your groin area. It's to the left. They go through an artery. And what they do is, when you open up an artery, you have to, it's not just, put a Band-Aid on it and it stops bleeding. Apparently they close the artery with some type of stitching or something. And it says, do not do this for 30 days. Do not do this for 10 days. Do not do this. Do not do that. And keep this card on you for 90 days. And it's got like I'm like, I didn't even know any of this happened. And here I am holding like 10 bottles of wine and this big thing of garbage and stuff like that. And apparently, I could have done myself some damage. It's wild. I'll show you the card tomorrow if I remember. But I couldn't believe it. I'm like, I didn't even know I had this card. Much love, AS7607. Don't forget to email me because a few people here, including me, wanted to send you a little something for the holidays. So, everyone, thank you again. I know this is the last sit-down episode and the Don Tony Show for 2021, but, it's business as usual. If you see, me, I mean, look, the 5,000th episode, that we will celebrate. And believe it or not, I think we're only like 30 episodes away from 5,000. So 5,000 is going to happen, I think, in either early February or late January. It's going to be, I thought it was going to happen around WrestleMania. It's going to happen sooner. So yes, we will celebrate episode 5,000. But, other anniversaries, 5-year, 10-year, 20-year, 25th, it's another day of the office for me. But, yeah, I got to look at the times, the dates, Michael, and there's going to be days that I will take a day off here and there. So there's no exact day yet. If I put a day out there, that would be based on never taking a day off from now until that episode. And I definitely want to take a day off here and there. I mean, let's be honest. The Wednesday show, looking at numbers, there's a reason why NXT only gets 500, 600,000 viewers. There's a reason why Dynamite only gets 900,000 viewers on average. When you look at Raw, that gets twice as much. You look at SmackDown, that gets two and a half times as much. Those audiences are a little bit bigger. So, we'll pick and choose the days that we take off, but it's coming up soon. It's coming up soon. And don't forget, New Year's Eve, I will be here. As of right now, I'm thinking 10 o'clock will be the start time. I don't want to drag it out. I don't want to make anybody really tired. So I think maybe 10 o'clock would be a good time to start. I'll make it official in the next day or two. I got to just look at, I also want to check last year and see what time we started last year. So everyone, I'll see you tomorrow night at 11:05 after Raw. Hopefully Mish is feeling better and it's not COVID and he will be with me. If he does not feel well, then I will be solo. So you have been prepared. Good night, everybody.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a podcaster. For me to live any other way was nuts. To me, those goody-good people who worked shitty jobs for bum paychecks and took the subway to work every day and worried about their bills were dead. I mean, they were suckers. They had no balls. If I wanted something, I just took it. I ran everything. I paid the bills. I paid the host. I even paid the masked maniac. Everybody had their hands out. Everything was for the taking. We always called each other good fellas. You would always hear from somebody. You're gonna like Don Tony. He's alright. He's a good fella. He's one of us. But if you're part of my crew, nobody ever tells you they're gonna get rid of you. It doesn't happen that way. There weren't any arguments or curses like in the movies. See, your haters come with smiles. They come as your friends, the people who've claimed they care the most for your life. And now that's all over. And that's the best part. Today everything is different. There's lots of action. I don't have to wait around for everything like everyone else. Oh, I didn't get the vaccine? Fuck you, vaccine me. Oh, your delivery guy has COVID? Fuck you, feed me. Right after I moved here, I ordered egg noodles and ketchup, and I got spaghetti with meat sauce. I'm no longer an average nobody, while they get to live the rest of their lives like a bunch of schnooks.